Yes, and welcome to Spurs Kings TV with your boy Ashmatic on the Rival Show. Big up. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the way in. I want to welcome my co-host as well, and he goes by the name of Deji Spurs. Long time no see, my brother. How you
Yeah,
doing?
bro. It's been a minute that I've been on the channel. Man was suffering from self-diagnosed COVID, but I'm back. I'm back to smoke these brothers. I've had enough of all these other teams shaking their bum. I don't know why they're shaking their bum, bro. And the maddest thing, bro, I will say
Mm.
this. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Postecoglou, but it would be mad that out of all of these, right after having all this chat on every Wednesday, that Tottenham be the one team that pulls out with a trophy this season. That would be so funny, bro. And if Tottenham pull
Stay
out with
there.
the League,
Stay there. I'm going to ask you about that still. And obviously, we've got one of our guests here as well, Justy from the Vam Zone TV. How you doing, my guy? You good?
Yeah, damn, my bro. Just coming off the 7-1 away victory. Was it the first time anyone got 7 away from home in the Champions League, innit? So just riding that little wave at the minute, you know what I'm saying? Just riding
I
that
hear
little
it.
wave. See
Cool. I like
Deji
it.
just
I
having
like
a little Deji with his little smirk, his little smirks.
I mean, we're gonna pick up on your little victory. Do you know what I mean? You and your bedroom phase, because I know phase. I just hope phase doesn't chat rubbish today. That's all I'm saying. Hope we don't chat no rubbish, man. I hope
Whoa.
just settles himself. Oh, there he
What's the
is.
lady? Oh, hey, how you doing? Yo,
Nice.
Faith, can you hear us?
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. Still.
Nice to see you
Yeah,
boys too, man. Long time,
yeah,
man.
man.
It's been a
Nice
long
to
time.
see you, man.
Big up.
Big up, man. Big up. Also, we've got another guest coming in and out. Hopefully, we'll see him in a second.
Pause.
Coming in, coming out. What? Man, can't say coming in, coming out.
I would have let the coming in slide, but the out as well was crazy. Out as well was crazy.
Hey, big up Mitch, man. Hey, what are you telling me, bro? You good? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear, man. Yeah.
Yes.
With the hour sleep. All right, cool. We'll get back to Mitch in a
Yo, I'm not
second, man.
getting any sound here. One sec.
Yeah. All right, brother. Yeah, man. Obviously, Liverpool just won.
Is it? What was the score?
It was 1-0 to Liverpool, can't lie.
I
But we'll
know.
get into that later on in the show, innit? Obviously, they beat PSG away from home. Big result for them. But before Liverpool played PSG, Arsenal won 7-1. And Spurs have got a game coming up tomorrow. So I was going to ask Deji with the first question. Would you have Spurs win the Europa if it meant Arsenal winning the Champions League?
That's a really.
I know.
So first and foremost, bro, I was one of the brothers that last season when we had the game against Plymouth at our ground, I wanted to win. I wanted to get Champions League. I don't give a damn if it meant Arsenal winning the league at that point. I really didn't care. Like for
Like,
me, I'm in my own lane. We focus on ourselves. I want to win the Europa League. If they win the Champions League, they should knock themselves out. But the reality is, bro, that team is too dusty. They're not going anywhere, to be honest with you. So we ain't even got to worry about that. But would I be bothered if they win the Champions League and we win the Europa League? No, I wouldn't be bothered because they're in their lane and we're in ours. So I wouldn't want to forfeit the Europa League so that they forfeit Champions League. And I think the reality is, if you really deep it, Tottenham's more likely to win the Europa League than Arsenal see the semi-final of the Champions League.
Is that because you don't think they've got a chance against Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid?
I mean, so can I wanted to ask this question, and I mean it. There's no banter from me. Maybe because I'm still recovering from illness. In Europe, what ranking would you give the Eredivisie? Where do they rank for you in terms of a competitive league?
Is that to you guys? What do you think?
Yeah. Are they in the top 5 of European football?
has anyone else got feedback? Did you hear him doubling?
Yeah, I can.
Come on, but it's not me, I don't think.
Who's that? I'm gonna mute now.
Let me mute myself.
Definitely not me. I think it's you, D.
It has to be.
For
innit?
me.
Yeah.
Have you got Have you got speakers playing? Yodley. Ooh. It's you still.
Oh, you lot can hear double, yeah? You double.
Yeah.
Double feedback,
Back to
yeah?
the B double. Ooh, dirty T. Yeah,
Oh,
sounds kind
let
of
me
cold still.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your one.
Yeah, so where would we rate the Eredivisie, please?
How about now?
Yo. Still there.
Yeah, it's still there, man. It's still there. I would say out of those leagues, 5th.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's still
Okay,
mad.
I think the French league is better than the Eredivisie, yeah? Bundesliga is
One.
better. Italian league is better.
2,
I would say the Portuguese league is better.
3.
There's 5. I've done 5 already.
Mr. 4th and 5th. Yeah, I think it's just D, man. You got like, it sounds mad airy on your
Got
mic.
white noise now.
Yeah, he got mad
I'm
white
not
noise.
him. I'm not off. Look. Yeah. Did you mute? Because it
Yeah.
stopped the moment you
Yeah,
muted it.
Yeah, stop now. Yeah, it must be his one. Yeah, go on, Deji. Sorry, go on.
Well,
Carry
you
on.
got the Prem, you got La
Yeah,
Liga,
yeah. 2.
you've got Bundesliga,
Yeah, German.
yeah, you got the
Yeah,
Portuguese league,
yeah.
you got the French league.
Right. Okay. So
Before we
6.
even touch on maybe 6th or 7th Eredivisie. So, bro, like, let's be real. I don't think any spicy Spurs fan could be shaking their bum for beating PSV, which is 6 or 7 tiers down in terms of European football. Do you know what I mean? It would be shameless for anyone to be shaking their bum. The truth of the matter is that front, when you look at them domestically, they struggled against Nottingham Forest. They struggled against Everton. They
We
struggled
never
against.
struggled against
They
Nottingham
struggled. They
Forest. That's not
struggled.
true.
They struggled against West Ham, and the likelihood is they'll probably get popped by United this weekend. So we can't really take anything from the game apart from the Eredivisie is a poor league. Do you know what I mean? I think the league is so poor that I would be a professional there, and so we can't really take anything from that game. The one positive that the Arsenal fans can take, the spicy Spurs, is that they've made it to the quarterfinals. But there's no way a front three of Trossard, Odegaard, and Martinelli is going to do anything against Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid. So we can second ourselves. We can pat them on the back and say, well done for getting to the quarterfinals, but that's about it.
What are you saying, FaZe? How did you feel about the PSV win? Obviously, PSV beat Liverpool, didn't they?
Oh shit, we're doing that. That's shameless. See, I can't be like Deji. I can't do that, man. I wish I
I'm
could
just
do
saying
that. I
they
wish I
beat
could do that.
Liverpool, so I'm just stating
But you know
facts.
it don't work that way though. Like it just don't work. It just don't work like that. It's because one guy beats one guy. It don't work like that. Didn't Ipswich beat you, man? Does it mean that they're better than you? Like, we're just being silly now. Do you get what? It don't actually work like that. Each game is different. There's circumstances, there's nuances in each game. Like, just because one guy beats one guy, to speak, I don't mean that we're better. Because why Liverpool above us in the league then? Since we can beat the mighty PSV.
I don't know. Ask Deji that, man.
Yeah, and the 7-1, it just annoys me, man. Because it's just like, right, you can do that, but then in other games you.
Is it FaZe? Is it you can do that, or is it that PSV was that poor? Because
Well, even if
I can't see you, man, scoring 2 or 3 in your next couple of Premier League games. So
and
is it
normally because Deji's
you guys are that poor?
normally Deji's so consumed by hate that man can just go, you're waffling. Do you get what I mean? But because of how we've not been scoring of late, that's actually a valid thing for him to say. So for us to turn around and go and score 7, it's like, so you can do it. Do you get what I mean? Because no matter the opposition is there, you've still got to put the ball in the net. So there's. He said that we scraped past Nottingham Forest, so we did quite well against Nottingham Forest. You get what I'm saying? And this is that thing where teams beat teams and people have their own reputation. Because Nottingham Forest are third, so anyone talking down on Nottingham Forest is probably below them, which don't make sense.
I'm not talking down on Nottingham Forest. It's just that I've seen a lot of spicy Spurs fans shaking their bum. Some man suggesting that you man are back. You've said, "Rod, these men have got it in their locker." But really, what
Yeah, but we got to
I
stop doing
reflected
that,
on
though, Deji, man.
and
We
what
can't.
I've seen is that there's levels to this. And let's be real, out of all of the Champions League draws, you probably had the kindest draw, at least one of them. You know, you could have easily had PSG. Would you have scored 2 or 3 past PSG? Let's be real. You know, you could have easily have had Real Madrid of Atletico Madrid. Would you have scored? Do you get what I'm saying? So you had a kind draw in having PSV. It could have been Club Brugge, and then we're looking at a different hymn sheet. So granted, you've had the favour of the draw, but you can only beat what's in front of you. I'm not convinced that you can replicate that same form in the best league in world football, which is the Prem. That's what I'm saying. So I can't say that you man have it in your locker. What I can say is that team was that poor.
Well, I want to bring in Mitch as well. Mitch, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I was having
Yeah.
mad problems hearing.
No, that's cool, bro. Yeah. So obviously, you saw the game, right? Arsenal, PSV, and the game before that. I think what Deji's trying to say, the game before, they struggled to score goals, and in this game, all of a sudden, they scored 7 out of pretty much like against the grain of what like the narrative was, isn't it? Do you think this is a one-off, or are Arsenal back now? Can they score like goals going forward? What do you think?
We're going to have to see the run of games, because you look at it as an isolated game and you're going to have to say it's a one-off, because they're not scoring goals like that, and they haven't been scoring goals like that. So for them to come out in this one game and score 7, that just means everything clicked on that day. It doesn't mean that they found the formula. The next game, they might, like a couple of weeks back, they found a formula by chucking Marino up front. It didn't work in the next game. So we've got to see what happens over the next few games to see if this is actually the formula, or was it just one of them nights that either PSV were off or Arsenal were just on for the night. We're not going to know until we see the next few. They could have just used up 4 games worth of goals and then scored none for the next 4 games.
Oh, before I go any further as well, who do you support?
I'm a Newcastle fan.
Yeah, a Newcastle fan. All right, cool. I want to bring it on to Just D as well. Can you hear me, bro? You back now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I muted my mic, innit? I don't know if you can hear the feedback.
Yeah, no, you sound all right. I think you're good now. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this topic, man?
You know what the facts are? The facts are the Champions League is easier than the Premier League, innit? That's what it is. That's the
You think
truth.
so? You think the Champions League is easier than Prem?
Definitely. Like every single team in the Champions League plays to their own strengths. Every team in the Premier League plays to negate your strengths. So for a team like Arsenal, it suits us for teams to play to their strengths. That's just how it goes. It's not like obviously the highest teams in the Champions League are as good as the highest teams in the Premier League, of course. But I'm saying as a whole, the level in the Premier League is just way too high for us to be able to bypass anything. And that's just
So PSV basically showed you no respect. PSV showed you no respect, and basically because they
PSV
came,
were 4-1 down, and they were playing. They had about 7 guys going forward. Like playing Southampton and Leicester is harder than playing PSV. We beat Sporting Lisbon 5-1. We beat like these teams. They're honestly, seriously, they're not as good as the Premier League teams. It's just as simple as that. The higher levels, of course, like Tottenham, even Tottenham, like 15, Man United, and that these teams will beat PSV.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So
I'm with D, I've been saying that for a minute, that Europe is rubbish. They're the feeder club. European teams are the feeder club to the Prem. The only thing I would say is that there are maybe 3 teams in Europe, but that's not a lot. Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona. They're the only teams that can maybe do something. All other teams, really and truly, an English team should win the Champions League every season, in my opinion.
Since the last 10 years, since Pep and Klopp came.
Can I ask a question then?
Go on.
Because for your theory to be consistent, it has to be applicable everywhere, innit? So I've been saying for years that to win a league is more difficult than to win a Champions League, innit? Because tournament football, you don't play as much games, you don't get put through as much tests, innit? So to play 38 games and to play, I don't know how much games to win a tournament or the Champions League, it's nowhere near 38 games, innit? So but people like to beat us and beat teams that haven't won Champions League with a certain stick. So are we all in confirmation now that winning a Premier League, the most difficult league in the world, is more difficult than to win a Champions League? Are we in agreement here?
I would say that, but although I agree with that statement, the one thing is Real Madrid makes it more difficult. Maybe Barca, really Real Madrid is the stickler in it.
So what's that? One team.
Just one team, yeah, that's one team.
But you know what is there, G? That's not what changes that narrative. What changes that narrative is that even though it's harder to win the Premier League than it is the Champions League currently, we also haven't won the Premier League either. That's what changes the narrative. If we had won the Premier League, then we can say we've done the harder thing, you know what I'm saying? And kind of have a back and forth. Like we haven't won the Champions League before, but we've won the Premier League. So we've done the more difficult part.
Are we actually saying the quality of the Premier League lower down is better than some of these teams in the Champions League? Because what I thought was it's easier for you, man, to play in the Champions League because they're not trying to stop you playing. They're just playing their game. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm saying both.
I get the second bit that it's easier to play against these teams because they come and play their games rather than trying to stop you playing. But we can't be saying that teams like Southampton would even give PSV any kind of game.
Not teams like Southampton, bro. But let's be real, Mitch. You think they wouldn't? But they would. You've got Villa in the quarterfinals, pretty much, of the Champions
Villa are
League.
cruising through. They're not even just in the
Villa,
quarterfinals.
Villa are like 10th.
Yeah,
Like,
but
this
Villa have got some very
seems-
good players, and they've got an elite level. Like
Bournemouth,
the managers
That is
in
the
there, don't
Prem,
they?
though. But that is the Prem.
Bournemouth, Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs, Man United, even
not the
teams,
last three,
even
but I'm with
teams.
you.
No, but even teams, yeah. When you play against teams, yeah, like Brentford, yeah, they are better than PSV, bro.
Nah, I
Don't,
can't
don't get
agree with that.
bruv. They are better. If PSV were in our league, where do you think they would finish?
They're still finishing the European places. They'd be like top six.
No way on earth.
Never.
So
You're
what
like,
are you not putting PSG up there? Are you not
You said
putting like
PSV,
Juventus?
not G. Is it V?
no,
No, I know
PSG,
it's the
yeah,
PSG,
PSG
but
are up there.
obviously PSG are in the Champions League, aren't they? So you've got PSG, you've got like Juventus that are in there, and you saying Juventus aren't a top team?
No,
Like,
they are top teams, but I'm saying the top teams
Right, man.
are of a certain standard. Like a lot of the top teams are at the same level potentially.
No,
You know what
but
I'm saying?
you know, sorry to cut you here, D, because the proof's in the pudding. All these teams you're naming, you might not have to play them to win the Champions League. So it's proven that you have to play
yeah,
every
that.
team in the Premier League. So it's just a fact. A league is more difficult to win than a tournament
Definitely.
because you only play selected teams. It's just a fact. I don't know why we're wasting time. Do you get what I mean? You don't even
Well,
have to play everybody in the tournament to win it.
I would bet that PSV would finish bottom half of the table.
So what are you saying? Would you rather win a Premier League over a Champions League then?
Me,
Because it's
No,
harder.
no, no, no. I
Because it's
wouldn't
harder.
because I've never. I
me.
wouldn't because we've never won it in our history. But if you was to ask, like Liverpool, they would want to win the Premier League because it catches up to Man United, and the Premier League is your be and end all, it's your bread and butter. But we've never won a Premier League as Arsenal fans, so Champions League. That's why I want the Champions League. But don't get it twisted. This 7-1 victory against PSV, we play them again. We'll beat them like that again. If Liverpool play PSV with their full team, like they'll beat them like 5-0.
But that's what I'm saying. If push come to shove, and you had to like choose between the Premier League and winning Champions League, you choose Champions League all day. Do you know
Yeah,
what
I'll
I'm
choose
saying?
the Premier
I
League.
actually,
That
I
doesn't
actually,
that doesn't rebuttal the point that the Premier League's more difficult though, because
It
now
doesn't. It doesn't.
it's into our own history. So I'd rather win the Champions League, but
Yeah,
that don't
yeah.
mean that the Champions League is more the question is what's more difficult, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
it's rather obvious the Premier League is more difficult.
and not only that, Chinks as well. You can choose to want to win the easier competition. That's not a problem
Thanks.
either.
yeah.
Do you know
The
what I'm
only,
saying? I am
Champions League
like,
would say
the only
Champions
thing
League
I
is
was going to
easier
say is
competition
that
than Prem. I'm
when I
surprised.
rank trophies, I think that the Premier League and the Champions League are equal. I think you get the same level of respect. If Arsenal was to win the Champions League or the Prem, you respect them the same way. Below that is the Europa League. Below the Europa League, I would say is the FA Cup. Below the FA Cup would be the Carabao Cup, and then the Europa Conference League is straight bottom.
That's crazy. So
Well, Mark,
the second tier tournament is FA Cup. You know, the final could be City. Like, do you know how does that work out?
Yeah, but remember, the FA Cup only gives you access to Europa League football.
yeah, but then the Carabao gives you access to Conference League, so surely Conference League comes above the Carabao.
Yeah, but that Conference League is dusty, man. I can't even lie to you, bro. That
No, because
Conference League is rubbish.
you don't get in the Carabao Cup from winning the Conference League. You get in the
I
Conference
know,
League.
but the quality of team in that Europa Conference League is.
but then you can bring it to the Community Shield, didn't it? Well, how far are we taking this?
Oh wow!
Trophy, man.
Yeah, if we're gonna be shameless like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
How far are we taking this?
Well, I want to ask then, like, do you not think, as Arsenal fans, that you have a chance on beating like a Real Madrid over an Atletico Madrid because Real Madrid are more likely to play like they think they're bigger than you, they think they're better than you, so they're less likely to sit off like an Atletico. So would you prefer to play a Real Madrid in the next round, or would you prefer an Atletico that might more or less sit back? Because that's you struggle against the mid block to low block, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So would I be right and say you prefer to play Real Madrid? You've got you want to, but you've got more of a chance.
Yeah, you would
to
be
win it.
right in saying that on paper, but in reality, you're playing probably one of the best attacking sides in the world. You know what I mean? So it's well and good saying we want Real Madrid because they suit our game, but also the way we play suits Real Madrid's game. You know what I'm saying? And what we need them to do is to to attack, but they also need us to attack. So it's like they got better attackers than us. They got they got know-how in it. They got the best players in the world. They got know-how. So no one really wants to play the best team in the world with a thinking that they're going to get through. But overall, for the glitz and the glamour of the tie, I guess that's you want the Champions League to play these games, but there's no easy game out of them two teams, man. They're both equally as difficult, I think, especially those two anyway.
And
Both
Atletico Madrid play like us; they're just a lot better. So I think that's a nightmare setup for you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's a terrible draw. But it's not a draw that I'm like we can't get through. You have to play these teams at some point, but it's a bad draw. But it's more the Liverpool, Aston Villa thing.
I would have agreed with you, D, if this was last season and you had all your man them available. I look at your front three, and I'm not sure you beat Bournemouth.
I agree.
There's nothing you can do against Madrid with Trossard, Martinelli, and Odegaard. This is just
Odegaard did show promise in the second half, though. He did show that he had a little.
He showed promise against PSV. Did he show promise against Forest? Did he show promise against West Ham?
Bro, don't get
Career on one particular game.
Don't think Bournemouth wouldn't give Madrid problems, bro. Don't think these teams wouldn't give them problems.
No, but then if we're gonna pick one particular team to put a whole man's career and whole worth on, if I decide to want to choose this season to base my whole viewpoint of Spurs on, you man are a 14th or 15th place team and it should never really ever have chat to me. Like the selectiveness is just crazy, isn't it? To just career on.
So what are you trying to say, Faze? Because Tottenham's having a bad season. We all know that. What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that you have this habit of choosing.
Is Odegaard a good player?
That's a silly question. He's one of the best cams in the world. What do you mean?
No, come on, bro.
What? See, you know, I'm going to be quiet now because we're not having like honest football debate. We're just doing silly narratives.
There is no way you can say.
I'm going to get back to making my
He's rubbish, bro. Come on, bro.
But that's your opinion and that's subjective and you're entitled to that. But we've already proven you're shameless. A few weeks ago, you were singing that you'd be happy with a treble and stuff like that. And you like, there's football world and football fandom and this stuff, and then there's real football talk. It's clearly obvious which one you care about more.
So Odegaard's just having a bad season. So Odegaard's having a bad season.
I don't get your narrative. I'm not consistent.
No, I just want to have it on record. You think that Odegaard is one of the best cams in world football. This season's just a write-off, just a bad season.
It's not about me, what I think, because I know that the world's.
No, I want to know what you think.
No, but I'm just gonna because I think that think and stuff like this. Like I have no qualifications and no stuff in football the same way you do, innit? Instead of me, I know the world's bigger than me and just my opinion, innit? And I can't base someone's talent only on my viewpoint alone, innit? So there's loads of people.
That's the purpose of this show. I want to hear your
opinion. I like to discuss fact, innit? Opinion can be wrong, innit? And we can.
I want to hear your facts.
So you got to let me speak to do that, then. No, surely. So like, we can just argue opinion all day and not really get nowhere. Like, do you know what I mean? Or we can have a conversation based on fact. And the fact is that there's people who work in football who are experts, who gets paid loads of money, and he's been in the best team in the Premier League for how long? For I think it's been at least a season or maybe 2 seasons. There's people who rank players and put point system and journalists and stuff like that who are qualified in sport and football and take numbers and compare them against people in his position in the whole wide world. And they've done their analysis and decided that he's one of the best cams in the world. And one of the best could mean top 10, it could mean top 5. So I think it's proven by experts in the field of football, and I put more weight on their opinion than Deji.
So can I just have a quick slight rebuttal? So first and foremost,
you can't rebuttal fact though. That's why I don't debate opinion.
Let me have a slight.
How can you rebuttal fact?
Let me have a slight rebuttal, please.
If you're going to rebuttal fact with opinion, it's pointless.
Unlike you, I don't do Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and then stay there.
I was just spitting his bars from his lyrics.
The second thing is, listen. There's a reason why this platform is growing. Yeah, because all that media, all those journalists that write all this rubbish, nobody wants to hear that crap. That's why Spurs King TV and other similar channels, bro, are growing. We can see with our eyes. Yeah, we can see with our eyes we can analyze. I don't give a damn.
I don't trust
what's
your
right.
eyes.
I can tell you now.
You're a Spurs man. How can I
Odegaard is not
trust
one
your
of the
eyes?
best
You support
hands in
Spurs.
the Prem. That is some crap. You know that.
Out of all the teams in the history of the Premier League,
and
you
use
support
your
Spurs.
own mind and your own opinion. Come on, bro. You've got your own mind.
But
You're an intelligent brother. Stop relying on something that you read and tell us Wagwan.
All right, so but didn't I already rebuttal that?
Tell us Wagwan. Stop relying on what you read.
My opinion would be based off fact because opinion is nonsense. You think about it, if we're gonna do this, then since your eyes are so great, out of all the teams in
Bro,
Premier League,
is Jude Bellingham one of the best brothers in world football? Who's better, Vinicius Junior or Mbappe? We've all read these stories, bro. You tell us.
I don't watch them enough to make that conclusion myself. What do you mean,
brother? So then, why did you go down that road then?
No, we can say.
Anyone, when you're reading someone's, you know that the media is biased. When the media tells you England is the best team in world football, is that true? Come on, bro.
Who said
you read it, though?
Was my reference point media alone? You've attacked one of my things that I used to pick whether a player is good or not. You chose media. I never said only media. I said there's.
You said facts. Where did the facts come from then?
Jesus Christ. You know what? Whatever you say about Odegaard is right. Your opinion's correct, and I'm sorry I questioned you. Next question, please.
Hey, I want to know, about Wanyeri, because Wanyeri was playing in that game, and I thought like he played well. He got his goal, whatnot. Regardless of the opposition,
that's irrelevant, though. Right? You got ask Deji. Only his opinion matters.
I think you know what. Look, we do overhype the English Premier League, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? Against other leagues, and we put other leagues in farmers leagues. But coming back to, because this is my opinion, it's not a fact. This is what I think, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let me put that out there. But I saw Wanyeri, and I thought Wanyeri looks like he's got something about him, innit? Like, do you not think he's got that potential to be on that level where he could be? Because I've heard comparisons of Saka, innit, saying, he could get to Saka's level. Do you know what I mean? Would you not agree with that, or do you think that's a bit of a wild statement? And if so, could he get to like an Elise level? Where do you not rate this boy? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've done a lot of talking.
Let me jump on this one.
Go on.
Who do you want
Anyone?
to the facts are with Wanyeri is.
So for me, I think Wanyeri's got the potential to be an absolute bad man, to be fair. Yeah. But he's a 17-year-old kid. We need to give him time to grow and breathe, man. We can't chuck him in and expect him to do it every week from 17. If he's built right, come 2021, this kid's going to be different.
I echo Mitch. I would like to say that Ethan Wanyeri, for me, the way that he's performing, he looks legit. Yeah, we don't need to look at no facts. You can see with your eyes. Yeah, for me, he should have been the young player of the season. How Archie Gray, I don't understand. Because if you look with your eyes, he's levels above Archie Gray. He's levels above Bergvall, in my opinion. He is a gunman. Yeah, bad man, as Mitch put it. And I think he's the best youngster around, and I think he could reach Saka's levels, provided he stays grounded and he continues to work hard. I also think Lewis Skelly is another bad man. He's got the potential to be the next Ashley Cole, in my opinion, the way that this brother's moving. You can see these things. You don't need to read some article. You can see with your eyes that these guys are ballers.
Yeah, they are, man. Not only are they ballers, Wanyeri is our most lethal player in the team. He is literally, he's deadly. He doesn't care about anything when he's in the final third. He wasn't even playing that well against PSV. He was having he had a bad first half, but he just rifles on top of the roof of the net. He's a nasty player. He's got that killer instinct that we don't have. Saka had to learn that killer instinct. He didn't even have it for a long time, and he had to learn it. Like Martinelli at one point was more of a killer than Saka was, and that was like our feeling as Arsenal fans that Martinelli is going to be the real killer and Saka's not. Saka's just obviously overtaken him. But Wanyeri is a natural born gunman, fam. It's a whole different ball game of his mentality. Him and Saka on either wing. Arteta's got a big problem because he's got to figure out what to do with him because
I
he's
was
ready
gonna
to
ask
play
you.
week in, week out.
If man are saying that raw, he's going to be better than Saka. Like, when Saka comes back, can you really afford to bench one of them?
No, whenever he goes left wing, simple. It's not hard.
Look, I just seen a comment in the chat
Yeah, play
from
them both. Play them
Ashley.
both, 100%. Play them both.
Ashley saying, "Is it a color thing?" It's not a color thing, bro. It's a baller thing. Look at Ethan. What I would argue with Ashley is we haven't really seen the best of Archie Gray because he's been played out of position. I feel like in a lot of the Tottenham's recent games, I don't know why people are trying to do cognitive dissonance. I would say that Archie Gray is the reason why we lost certain games or dropped points in certain matches. I think in the last game against Man City, it's Archie Gray's fault. In the game against Everton, it's Archie Gray's fault. It's not his fault because he's been. You can't go from left centre back to right centre back to right back to left back. You know what I mean? Football's about positional play and it's about instinct. You can't have instinct when that ain't your natural position. So Archie Gray's been at fault, but it's not his fault because it's the manager. If you're gonna play him left centre back, play him left centre back and leave him there. Stop changing the brother around. He ain't that good. Do you get what I'm saying?
You know what? I had this conversation.
Give Archie Gray props over Ethan. Ethan, we're seeing him in his best position.
No, we're not. He don't play right wing.
Yeah,
Where's he play? Where's his best position?
Ethan centre mid. But I had.
So why can't you play Ethan? Why can't you play Ethan?
You see what happens when you base everything on what you think. You get what I'm saying? You get stuff wrong.
So, no, that's true. I hear that, man. I'll put my hands up. Look, I'm an Ethan expert. I'm asking the questions, innit? So
no, not you. Of course, not you.
Yeah,
You don't do
no, but I'm
stuff
just
like
saying.
that.
I'm just saying. Like, for example, would you put? That's what I was asking. Could you put Saka on the right and have Ethan in the middle, or vice versa? Could you put? You know, I know you've got I know you've got people on the left. I understand that, but do you lose a bit of Ethan if you put him on the left? Has he ever played there out on the left?
Ethan, the only issue that you have with playing Ethan left is you got two youngsters on the left hand side. That's the only thing about it. You want a bit of experience.
Because what Deji's saying, Gray's had to play out of position the whole time he's been here. So we
you know what? Yeah, me and my cousin had this argument the other day about Archie Gray and Lewis Skelly, like based on Archie Gray being out of position and stuff like that. And I'm saying, even though Archie Gray has been played out of position in the Tottenham team, he's also sunk with the Tottenham team, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like he's also been it's been hard for him in that team. He's not meant to be playing.
People been underperforming and he's had to play in an underperforming team.
I know, but a lot of the time, to me, a superstar gem, they will stand out in that Tottenham team. Like if Ranieri was playing for Tottenham right now, he would look like Gascoigne.
Would Archie Gray get into Arsenal team?
Look like
would Archie Gray get into Arsenal's team?
Honest truth.
Would Archie Gray get into Arsenal's team?
Of course
not. What position does he play? He won't get any.
Where's he even play? He's a centre midfielder. He doesn't get in centre midfield, left back, right back, inverted. He doesn't.
Inverted as a position.
Yeah. Could he get in the squad? Possibly. But is he in the best 11? Hell no.
Of course not.
Yeah.
How can he get in our team? You can't even get into your midfield. How's he going to get into ours?
But this is why the fans are complaining because the fans are saying, "Right,
you lot got Bissouma and Sarr that everyone hates, and Archie Gray can't even get in."
But that's because we had problems at our centre back. Remember, Mickey van der Ven and Romero been out since the Chelsea game.
But you can put Bissouma back there.
What, a centre back?
Yeah.
Why would you can't put Bissouma centre back?
So you'd rather put an 18-year-old that's never played there?
Wait, technically he played as a fullback at Leeds, so he's got some experience in the back line. So maybe they thought, let's stick him there, innit? Let's develop him there. Do you know what I'm saying?
So where do you think he could get in at Arsenal?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying he's being played out of position. Could you put Skelly? If Arsenal played Skelly at centre back and Gabriel had an injury, would Skelly be thriving? Is what I'm saying. That's
Skelly was playing for Tottenham. If Skelly was playing for Tottenham, if you swap Skelly with Archie Gray in Tottenham's position in exactly the same spot, Skelly would look like a world beater.
What at centre back?
100%. Skelly's
We
rougher.
can't say that. We can't say that. No, we ain't seen him at centre back.
100%.
Because
Skelly would.
Skelly,
Listen, it's
Skelly's the
harder.
number 6. Is Skelly a 6, right? Skelly's a 6, isn't it? He's not even a left back.
He's a
midfielder. He's more box
He's
to
a
box.
midfielder, isn't it? But he's a 6. He's not an 8. He's a 6, isn't
No,
it?
he's
Yeah.
not. I don't think he's
Yeah.
a 6. No, he's not. I've seen
He
him.
is.
He goes forward more.
He plays
Nah,
6.
man,
his
I
whole-
watched him.
whole career.
But he gets forward though. He don't sit at 6. I've seen him
Yeah,
attack.
but that's why he played 6. He's been
So it's
brought
safer
up
to say he's a midfielder. He can play 6, but his attributes are
as-
not only
he's
defensive.
a midfielder. Yeah, he's
Yeah, but I'm saying, my point is, if you put Lewis Skelly at centre back, left sided centre back, is he going to be performing the way he's performing at left back?
He would perform a lot better than Archie Gray, is what I'm saying.
Well, people
lot
are rating how Archie played at centre back. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying, and he's
Well,
not
he
even.
was-
He's not even
Alright,
a centre back. He's a 6.
Alright,
He's
do
a
you think
midfielder.
People are rating
Do
Archie
you think
Gray.
it's harder? Do you think it's harder to stand out in Archie Gray at Tottenham than it is for Lewis Skelly to cement his place in the Arsenal team? Which one do you think is harder?
I don't know because I didn't pick the award, didn't it? He won the award at London.
No, but which one do you
ahead
think is harder? Do you
myself.
think it's harder for an 18-year-old Lewis Skelly to cement himself in this title challenging Arsenal squad, or do you think it's harder for Archie Gray to cement himself in this failing Tottenham squad? Which one do you think is a harder feat?
I think it's. Do you know what? It's mad because when you're
I'd
playing,
say it's harder for Archie Gray to
No,
stand.
listen, when you're Mitch, to be fair, if you're playing next to Dragushin can't turn. Dragushin ain't got acceleration, like in a high line. Do you understand? Dragushin's also 21, not really experienced. Dragushin for me is not a high line centre back. So you're playing with weakness there already. Do you understand? And Archie Gray hasn't really played centre back before. So imagine you're disabled already. So imagine now you're playing Lewis Skelly next to Dragushin, and you're expecting Lewis Skelly to thrive. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I know what
And
you're
he's still
saying.
doing the thing, and he's still doing the thing.
So
Yeah,
what we're
but
saying that Archie Gray is better than Skelly? Is that what we're doing in this argument?
no,
I'm
but I
just
would
saying,
say-
you've got a
So
brother
what-
that's
so
a
what-
midfielder playing out position, playing centre back.
So we've got two of them as well. Skelly and Nwaneri are doing the same thing for us.
Now, when Yeri's playing in his position, more or less.
No, he's a
Bro,
midfielder.
not only is Lewis Skelly cemented himself in a title challenging team where he's overthrown people like Zinchenko, Kivior. Zinchenko's a title winning player. Kivior, Calafiori that's just been bought. Not only has he come in and said this is my spot, he's gonna probably be the England's left back. He's
Well,
not only
you know what the only fact is out of this, though. I reckon. Sorry to get involved,
Yeah, go on,
sway
go on.
off of your hypothetical, irrelevant arguments here. But what I think is, Arteta has created a situation and environment that is way easier for our young players to thrive than what Ange has. And I just want to put some respect on Arteta's name.
Yeah,
When
I hear
everybody
that.
was
I
beating
can
him
agree
up
with that.
and saying
I
that
can
he should
agree with
play
that.
this guy and he should play this guy. With young players, it's the circumstances have to be there to help them thrive. Because it's not fair when they're getting beaten up and battered. And now we're actually doing it where we've got a young player called Archie Gray who's in his first season. He's getting bombarded with all the Spurs fans' disappointment of where they are at in life, instead of being happy and promiseful about a player that's full of youth, that's young, and who's going to be there for a very long time. Do you get what I'm saying? So in all of this argument about if one hypothetically played in one place, I just want to big up my manager Arteta for making the circumstances right for our young players to come in and look very good when other managers fail at that.
Do you think by your manager focusing on bringing the young guns, he took
And
his
so
eye
focusing. Wow.
he took his eye off the bigger picture, which is winning something?
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Mitch, I want to bring you in, yeah?
Me and FaZe, I miss you, bro.
Mitch, hey, Mitch, listen, I love it. Hey, Mitch is neutral, innit? So I just want to get your thoughts. Obviously, the context is there, innit? Like, as I said, he's a midfielder who's played across the whole back line. He's played at right back, he's played at centre back, he's played at left back, he's played at left-sided centre back, he's played at right-sided centre back, and he's played next to players that are basically in a dysfunctional team that are low in confidence, not doing well. The goalkeeper's been taken out. The two centre backs have been taken out. So imagine your whole spine. That's pretty much your spine just gone. Even the centre forwards, because we like to defend from the front. That striker's gone. Is there a case to say that Archie Gray has had to work hard because he's in a system that's not even thriving? Why are you laughing for that?
Someone in the comments said, someone said, "Are you rapping?" Man was applying. Man gave
Hey,
Mitch.
turn the beat
Man
on.
gave, he gave Mitch
Hey, turn the
2.5
beat on.
minutes. He just asked you a question, Mitch, but gave you 2.5 minutes of context, which easily is kind of sway your answer. So you can't even answer genuinely right now because all the context is provided.
I'm trying to
No,
lay all the foundations because we know about Skinny. Everybody knows about Skinnies, but I don't know if he knows about Arsenal. I mean Spurs and Archie Gray. But go on, sorry.
you know what? Can you hear me? Because I've been trying to.
Yeah, I
My
can hear you.
connection is moving crazy and it's crazy. But
Yeah,
I kind of agree from both sides here. Like, I would say it's hard. It's been harder for Archie Gray to show his real talent in this Tottenham side because it is so dysfunctional. So it does make it slightly easier for like players like Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri coming into functioning teams and just playing their role in the team rather than having to move about and playing again next to like Dragusins and different players every week. That does make it harder for you to come through. That's not me then saying that Archie Gray's better than either of these two players, because I don't think he is. I don't think he's even close to either of these two players from what I've seen so far. And we'll only see how good he is once Tottenham get a functioning team together. For me, and this is probably going to sound biased coming from a Newcastle fan, I'd put him sort of on par with a Lewis Miley. Not them levels there, rather than the level above. Because Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri are knocking on England in it now. Because these men are certified ballers, and everybody will agree with that. No one will turn around and say that neither Skelly or Wanyeri are going to be ballers unless something goes wrong in their career. And no one can say that about Gray.
I would say Lewis Miley's better than Archie Gray.
What would you say, Mitch?
I don't think I don't think he's played enough for me to sit here and say that he's better. But from what I've seen of Lewis Miley, he is one of them midfielders that I've seen that is proficient at a lot of different things. He can do so much as a midfielder. And the thing that impresses me the most is when he gets the ball, the game seems to slow down around him. It doesn't look like he's rushed ever. And as a centre midfielder, that impresses me loads because not loads of centre midfielders have that as a natural thing. And the kid's 18 years old and he's doing it in the Premier League.
I kind of agree. It's just that it's a shame because Archie Gray's best position is the 6. I think he has shown that he's got similar qualities to that. We just haven't seen it because he's been playing out of position.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Until we see him in a proper Tottenham team and in a proper position, we don't know how good he's going to be.
But that's what I'm saying. Why have you not seen him there? He can be played.
By the way, I agree with you, man. I'm just doing it for obviously the conversation. I just thought it was interesting in it because there's a lot of Spurs fans. No, Faze. What it is, a lot of Spurs fans. I had to say it because a lot of Spurs fans they hype Archie Gray, so I have to kind of put it out there, innit? And I'm thinking, is it me, or I need to know from other rivals what they see as well? Do you understand? That's why I throw these conversations out there, innit?
I think
I don't want to know if I'm being too harsh on the brother, because for me, I'm not big on Archie. I'll be real. I need to see it first. And everyone's been like, even if Toon was here, you'd hear Toon, nah, he's generational. At the start of the season, Toon and Cass were swearing by this brother, saying, oh no, trust me, Archie Gray. When you see him play in the 6, when you see him playing for Leeds, you see what he did at Leeds. There was one game I did see when he was playing against Chelsea in the FA Cup, and he was in the 6, and it was him versus Caicedo, and he bodied him. I can't lie. The mobility, the physicality, he showed a lot of heart. But then he also, in tight spaces in that midfield area, was able to get on the ball, turn, and play forward. And then also the passing angles, like when you take it off the centre-back, made sure he kind of dropped into that space, got on the ball on a half turn, and then he's spraying the ball around like he's dictating. So that's what I saw against Chelsea in the FA Cup. But it's different when you see it week in, week out. And I had to see that for myself. That's why I was like, I'm still not sold yet. I know he's meant to be the best player in the Championship last season. But when you take that step up into the Premier League, into a new team, in a new environment, I want to see him thrive. And I haven't seen that yet. So I've got my questions where I've seen you, man, with Skelly and them, man. I've seen it. Do you understand? So that's why I had to throw out.
Can I be real with what you've just described there? You've just described John Joe Shelby from the last time we was in the Championship.
Oh wow,
that's crazy.
John Joe Shelby.
I swear down, everything you just said applies to John Joe Shelby last time we was in the Championship. We can't be gauging someone on that, not at all, because he was never great in the Premier League.
No, but you see what we're all doing here? We're all having a mature conversation of where we need to see more than one particular game to base our opinion on a whole player. Do you get what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if we want to choose PSV, we look amazing. If you want to choose Nottingham Forest, which certain people, we don't. Like, do you know what I mean? So I appreciate the fact that it takes you more than one or a few games to base your whole opinion on someone's complete technical ability as a footballer. So I can only respect that.
I want to ask a question. I don't know, Dej. I don't know how you feel about this, yeah. But I brought it up last week, and certain people weren't liking it. Spurs fans won't like this, innit? But I'm gonna throw it up anyway, and then it popped up on my timeline again. So it was like the question I posed last week, which popped up on my timeline today, was: would you take Havertz or would you take Solanke?
Solanke all day long. And I tell you why. I think with Havertz, he did have a good season last season, but you got to look at what Solanke brings into the Tottenham team. We have a young brother that is able to run non-stop, work hard, bring other players into the game. And it's not Solanke's fault that we have a manager that deploys a system where they don't even aim for him. And that's why I've been big on Iriola coming to Spurs, because he won't let that happen. Iriola knew how to get the best out of Solanke at Bournemouth. If Iriola became the Spurs manager in the summer, I can guarantee you Solanke's getting 20 plus goals, because he's going to be saying, man, them aim for Solanke. Whip the ball in, let him win the ball on his head. He's a good header of the ball, or get it to his feet. The amount of times I've seen our wingers, Brennan Johnson or Werner, Son, just bypass this brother like he's not there is a madness. And the thing is, the only player that I know that you can bypass in that fashion and score goals is Kane. If you watch Bayern Munich, them brothers ain't even trying to give Kane the ball. Do you get me? But when Kane gets it, he buries it. And that's the thing. Whereas Solanke is no Kane. And so that's why his numbers are low. But I would have Solanke over Havertz all day, every day. I don't even think Arsenal fans like Havertz.
No, I would agree with you on that in terms of like out and out strikers. Like, who do you want up front? But I think Solanke would stop Arsenal, would stop Tottenham getting a level above striker. I don't think Havertz does. Havertz is a better squad player or a better utility player to have in your team. But Solanke is probably a better striker. But it's not that much of a difference for me to pick Solanke, because he stops me getting a top level striker. If you get what I'm saying. Like, Solanke is a mid level striker, and there's a level above. But Havertz is the best.
He could do a job. I think Solanke. I think if you had a Solanke this season, potentially you guys would be a lot closer to Liverpool.
Yeah, we would be, but I don't think we'd win the league with Solanke. I think it would be exactly the same as with Havertz. It's the same thing. But I think Havertz is probably the best you can get out of a utility player. So he's the best utility player in the world in theory. But Solanke is not the best striker in the world. There's levels above that. So I think
there's levels above him. But you don't need a Harry Kane to win the league. You just need someone who's half decent.
I think we do need a Harry Kane. I think we do need a Harry Kane to win the league. I think that is what you need. I think there's not many strikers in the world. Isaac is a version of Harry Kane. Gyökeres is a version of Harry Kane. I'm talking about higher level. I'm not talking about exactly that level. I'm saying higher level. There's a bracket of strikers that you need to win the league, I think. Unless you're going to be generational like Pep.
So what? Wait. Just to rewind a bit. Deji said, hardworking, runs a lot for the team, brings other players into the fold as well. Doesn't needs service, but doesn't necessarily get it. I look at Havertz and I'll bring Faze in. What do you think? Who would you say? Would you rather Havertz, hearing what Deji described, or would you prefer Solanke in your team?
I can't really answer a question based off what Deji said, because I don't really put much weight on his opinion.
Fair enough. But what do you think?
If that's my stance on the question, I can't use that. I don't agree with that. Do you get what I mean? Because I personally think that Havertz works harder for the team. I think that he runs more for the team. I think it's proven he does more kilometers than a load of players in the team. I think if he doesn't score, he brings other players in, and he's more he's more selfless for the team than Solanke is, in my opinion. But at the same time, I can be honest enough to say that I don't watch Solanke as much as you, man. So my viewpoint can be a bit blurred. You see that? Honesty. Do you get what I mean?
I respect that though, because I was going to say the same thing, that you haven't seen Solanke play.
Yeah, Solanke is very similar in terms of work rate. Like, see what we see of Havertz, Jinx, and Odegaard. Solanke is exactly that. Like, is non-stop all game, bruv.
What, just because
that's what he's known for.
Okay. I still take Havertz though.
They both.
That's because of my team though, because I think that Havertz suits what my team needs a bit better. But as an out and out striker, this is where I don't be shameless. I would say that Solanke is a better out and out striker than Havertz is. But I've drank the Arteta Kool-Aid where I'm lost in the world where strikers are relevant.
I would say to you though, had you had Solanke over Havertz, you would be a lot further in the.
I would never do that, in my opinion. I don't think Havertz.
Faith, can you do me a favor? Can you just check their numbers side by side, or Stedgy? Can you check their numbers, or anyone?
Solanke's got 11 goals. You mean this season? He's got 11 goals and 6 assists in 29 games. And Havertz has got 34 games, 15 goals and 5 assists. So one's got 17 goal contributions and one's got 20.
Who's got 17? Who's got 20?
Solanke's got 17 goal contributions in 29 games and Havertz has 20 in 34.
Yes.
So he's played more games. Go on.
I see a lot of people talking in games. Like, when you look deeper into it, we've got to be talking more in minutes and stuff like that, because this game blurs it massively. Man might come on for 2 minutes and that's counted as a game. And that completely blurs the lines of some of these conversations people are trying to have sometimes. This isn't directed at that point there, because I don't know what the minutes is.
So
I've seen conversations on loads of different streams, and you look at the minutes.
Yeah,
the games are like 1 or 2 different, and then you look at the minutes, and it's like 1,000 minutes difference because man's coming on for 2
Faze, how many minutes has the Solanke got?
Solanke's got 2,248 minutes. And Havertz has 2,776.
So what? How much? About 300 minutes difference or 400 minutes?
Yeah, so you're talking about 5 games.
Yeah, probably between 400 and 500 less minutes. Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Mitch?
No, but it was that wasn't even. It was more of a
no. Just to say, like,
conversations going on the Man City games, and a couple of them I've looked at the minutes. And
I want to bring you into it as well as a neutral. No, as a neutral, I want to bring you into it because obviously, like he said, the numbers. They've both said both players work hard. They both said both players bring others into the game. Both defend high up the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying? And one's a midfielder, one's a striker. Who would you say? Like, who would benefit more? Who would you say? Like, who would you say? Havertz or Solanke in that role?
Well, if they're playing as a 9, I'm taking Solanke, 100%. If I'm just having someone to add to my squad, just because I want to add a man to my squad, I'm taking Havertz. But my opinion on it is, if you're looking to win big trophies, neither of these men should be starting for you consistently. They shouldn't be the go-to guy that starts 80% of games. You need better than both of them, I think. Like the level Arsenal are at, they shouldn't have to rely on Havertz, I don't believe.
You know what?
They want to win championships and win leagues. I don't think they should have to rely on Havertz. I don't think he's good.
There's like an A striker and a B striker, isn't it? So you see, like Giroud is an elite B striker, and then Kane is an elite A striker.
Yeah.
And am I wrong? I think that Havertz is a better B striker than Solanke is an A striker.
I'd agree.
Yeah, that's exactly what my point was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a perfect utility player.
I wouldn't even say Solanke is an A striker.
Is it?
I would say he's a B striker.
So he's a Giroud. That's great.
That don't make sense. You didn't pay 60 million for a B striker.
Yeah, bro, but you said it yourself. There's another level above, yeah?
Yeah.
Next level above is A striker to me.
No, not in terms of level. Not level. Not level.
Position, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the position.
Oh.
You have man that are certified number 9s, and then you have man that play just off a front man or play to the side.
Yeah.
They don't play as a
second striker versus like a forward target man. But the thing is, like, I think in the system when he played under Iriola, that Solanke played as more of a centre forward. Like he was higher up the pitch. He wasn't asked to kind of drop in and do all those things that what Havertz does. And hence why last season, in my opinion, I think he got between 19 and 21 goals for Bournemouth. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think in this system, he's been asked to do slightly different things. Hence why his numbers don't look as impressive as what he did last season, in my opinion. So 60 million, I think I don't really like price tags because it kind of confuses what that player is actually capable of or what the actual profile of the player is, what he's meant to do. I think with him, because he was English, I think that put money on top of what he's actually worth. And I think because there's a lack of actual number 9s out there, you have to pay premium, if that makes sense. You see, like back in the day, there's no way I'm saying Solanke's like that striker. Do you understand? Like back in the day, you used to have Andy Cole, Dwight York. Do you know what I'm saying? There was Shevchenko, Berbatov, Batistuta. You know, we had strikers for days. But nowadays, strikers are like almost like a dying breed. There's not many centre forwards out there. And I think that's why, because they're scarce, obviously, you know, the laws of supply and demand, the price goes up. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday's price is not today's price. So that's what I think the reason why Solanke was so expensive. But is that his fault? Do you know what I mean? No, of course not. It's not his fault. Do you know what I mean? But then the next striker up, like the A strikers that you're saying, you're going to have to go to one of those elite clubs. Can Spurs really... Are Spurs really going to buy that A striker? Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. And the A striker going to want to come to Spurs. Go on, sorry, Mitch.
The thing is, they'll pay the fee. What Spurs don't want to do is pay the wages.
Yeah.
Like they could get an A striker for £60 million, but you have to pay him double what you're paying Solanke. And that's the problem. That's where it lies. You can talk transfer fees all the time, but you go to a club at a certain point in time, they ask you for a fee, you're willing to pay it, you pay it. It's more the wages. You look like, obviously, Suede, certain men have got mad wages that they shouldn't have, but you look at players, that normally sort of tells you the tier of player they are.
What's your highest earner, Mitch? Who's your highest earner out of interest?
At the minute, it is Bruno, and I think it's 160.
160? Oh, yeah. I don't know why. Wow.
I thought Newcastle paid more than that.
Yeah, so did I. I thought you lot coughed up.
No. Bruno got his new contract, I think it was about a year ago now, and it's 160, 170.
Wow. So what are you going to do with Isak when like teams like, you know...
The talk is going to be 200. Talk is he's coming in at 200, which is why we're waiting.
You're going to up his contract? You think he'll sign it?
We're waiting. We're waiting until after the June 30th, and that's when we're going to give him a new contract, so it doesn't mess us up with PSR again.
Do you think you're getting Champions League ahead of Forest?
2 weeks ago, if you said this to me, I would have said yeah. But over the last 2 weeks, our squad is crumbling, bro. Lewis Hall's out. Isak's hobbling around.
Yeah, but you man ain't got Europe though. I swear you man are just doing up league.
Yeah, we are, but like our players are just falling down again. Like Botman looks like he's out for the rest of the season now. Gordon's just got a 3-game ban. I would still back us to finish in the top 5. I think. Obviously, the top 2 finish above us. I think Man City turn into their usual juggernaut at the end of the season and try and trace down Arsenal. And then it's between us, Chelsea, and I wouldn't even put Forest in it. I reckon it'll probably be a Bournemouth or a Brighton will run it close as well.
You don't put Forest in it?
No. I think Forest have hit their wall. They've hit their wall now. I think they'll start falling down.
Oh, you're so lucky the Forest fan cancelled the last minute. Oh, you're lucky. Because he thinks they're going to be Champions League. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Mad.
You know what? That might be slanted because I've watched us play them twice and I haven't been impressed this season. And I haven't watched that many of their games. But I haven't been impressed when I've seen them against us. But that might just be 2 off days. So I might be wrong. But I just don't think they're going to do it.
I don't know what you lot think. But I just think with Forest... They don't create a bag of chances, but the chances they do create, they're just clinical. Do you know what I'm saying? So what they do is the whole defensive thing, and it may look like you see that today Liverpool. I haven't even spoken about it, but Liverpool, they were sitting getting peppered. They got like the 1 or 2 chances. The one chance they had, they took it. You know what I mean? Smash and grab. And I feel like with Forest, they will get games where they're not really playing too well, but the chances they create are big chances, and then they put them away. Do you understand? So and I think that's
Yeah.
part of their game plan. Some people will be like, "That's dead, isn't it?" You know. Hence why people be like Arsenal are quite boring Arsenal, rare. That's been the narrative, but Arsenal are second. They've got like I think what was it, first or second best defense in the league, and I think Forest have got the third best defense in the league.
But that Forest create a chance, score a goal is only sustainable if you have a proper legman in your team,
Hey,
or
would that? Hey,
someone
would
who's certified. You know they're going to bag when it drops to them. I don't think they've got Wood who's on form, but I don't think you can't rely on him to do it every
they
single
got
week.
Alanga though? Alanga's chipping in. Alanga's getting those goals as well, and then also Hudson-Odoi, Callum, he's doing his thing, and then you got
Yeah.
Morgan Gibbs-White. He chips in here and there.
Yeah, but if all of them players you've just named, if you said you get one chance a game, do you want to rely on any of their man to bury it? Would you be saying yeah?
I'd say maybe Wood. Pause, but yeah.
Again, I might be biased from the fact that he played for Newcastle and couldn't hit a barn door, but I would not be relying on that
Yeah,
to bury the
still.
one chance we create in per game.
Yeah, no, I hear it still. What do you lot think? Do you think Newcastle will get into Champions League?
Yeah, I do. I think they've got a good enough team. I hear Mitch's point that they're losing players. That's the only thing. I think because now they're starting to get their injury crisis, they might just miss out. But really and truly, that Newcastle squad should be finishing in the top four.
Who's going to miss out then? Is it going to be one of the big boys, Chelsea or Man City? Do
I
you
think
think they miss
Chelsea
out?
miss out. Chelsea's rubbish, so I think they miss out.
Does anyone else agree with that?
Yeah, I think Chelsea miss out.
Wow.
I'm not gonna, you man, I got to bounce, but I'm gonna try and jump back on in it. If
Yeah.
if
All
you
right,
lot
cool.
still up
Do
when I
your
get back,
And
innit?
then I have to bounce as well.
Do your thing.
You man are still up, I'll jump back on still.
Yeah. Cool. You man.
Thank
In a
you.
bit. Yeah, so I'll talk to you, FaZe, then, bro. What do you think then?
To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because obviously Chelsea are Mandem FC in it. They got hella brothers there. Them man are just pumping drill all night. You know what I'm saying? In the changing rooms, being disrespectful to their manager, telling them to piss off. But I don't know. Like I just feel like they've got enough quality. Like I know they've been missing. Like Palmer's gone off the boil for me. That's what it is. Palmer, he's got Madeline in it. I can't find him. He's missing.
I think
And
Chelsea's biggest problem is now everybody's seen Maresca in the way that he plays once. Teams are wise to it. And this is when you see the difference between the good managers and the great managers. Like Slot tweaks things. So you can't get wise to what Slot's gonna do each week. But I think Maresca hasn't got them tweaks to make that difference.
So you think tweaking's important then, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because
What do you make of Ange then?
like he's only just started doing it. And now that he's only trying to do it now because he's got no players and he has to.
Now all the players are back. Do you think he tweaks still? That's what I'm
I think
asking.
I think he reverts back to type. I think he's arrogant enough just to revert back to type and say, "Look, I've got my players back. It's going to work now."
Okay, mad. All right, fair enough, man. I'm not disagreeing, but I just like to hear other people's opinion of Ange, innit?
I don't rate Ange at all. I've said a few times when speaking to Marlon and such that I don't think he's a Premier League manager. I don't think he's good enough to manage in the Premier League.
Alright, here's a wild thing that's been flying around in the Spurs space because we've got a different type of thing going on over here, man. They're just different characters. But people are saying, raw, Henry or Kane. I'm like, what? How is that even a debate? What? Man are saying Kane's a better centre forward than Henry.
Kane's good though.
Yeah, if you're talking as a
Kane's
pure
not good,
nine,
but Kane versus Henry.
the only thing he does anything better than Henry is as a pure nine. But Henry is a footballing god, bro. Like he's like top tier that we've ever seen in the Premier. He's like top 2-3 players we've ever seen in the Premier League. Like we can't be putting Kane in that bracket. I'm sorry, and I think Kane's like a proper leg man. Left foot, right foot, all the finishes. He's a bad man when it comes to putting the ball in the net, but he's not Henry level. Henry could do it all, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I've said. Henry for me, pick up the ball from way back where, wide centrally, and he would just like beat 2 or 3 players and then score as well. And I think the most similar aesthetic player towards him would be Isak, but that's being disrespectful, in my opinion, to Henry. Because
Yeah,
Isak,
yeah,
even though Isak right now, like stylistically, he's easy on the eye. Do you know what I'm saying? He's in the channels. He gets on the ball. He looks silky, and then he's got a lethal finish. Like in the box, he's deadly, innit? Henri was just a class above that. Like first touch, there was a goal where he flicks it up onto one foot on the half turn and it volleys it and it goes
Man
top
United.
bin. Yeah, that Man United goal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There was a goal that he scored at against Tottenham when he just ran through our whole team.
Ran through and then beat 2 man edge of the box, left foot, bottom corner. That one.
I said, oh, what's going on? So, like, but that's why I always have the debate. Like, Marlon hasn't said this, by the way, but Marlon always rates Kane over Bell. But I like Bell. For me, Bell he's more of an exciting player. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's why I look to Henri. Henri was an exciting player, but he had the numbers to match it as well, if that makes sense. Because Bell didn't really score that many goals. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So if I'm trying to look at, some people do the whole stat padding thing. I don't really do that. For me, it was like that goal, last minute, outside of the box, left foot drilling it, bow, that winning your team that game. That for me is worth 5 goals. Do you understand? Match winner.
Like taking it like on a slight comparison, Bale had the clutch gene, like Michael Jordan.
That's what I mean.
When needed, they come in clutch. That's the one thing that Kane's never had. That when backs to the wall, you need man to come out and do something special.
Big games. Yeah,
like he scored in big games. Don't get me wrong, but when
he
scored
against like Arsenal and whatnot. I mean, those games where you're like, all right, cool, we're playing your top 6 teams, your Chelsea's, whatnot. He has scored against Chelsea, but I mean, in important games, he just, I don't know, man. For me, like you said, in terms of clutchness, for me, I was more impressed with Bale. For me, I don't know.
With Bale, you was more waiting for the moment to happen. You kind of knew it was coming. You was just wondering when. With Kane, it's like, please do it, please do it, please do it, and then it just doesn't come.
I just think Kane in the box, that's when he comes alive. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah. Don't let that man shoot.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Any foot, boom, boom. That's when he's alive. But for me, Bell, outside the box, it's like, I don't know, you, man, I don't know what you lot think. Like, Robin, for me, when Robin used to pick up the ball, I was just like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Drive down that line, cut onto his left foot, top bins. You know what I'm saying? That, for me, is harder to execute. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's all down to preference, isn't it? And it's down to what you consider. Because we had a debate in it, phase last week. We were talking about Ronaldo versus Messi, innit? Now,
I watched that.
Yeah, so phase was like, because Ronaldo's done it, he's like put like the whole Portugal on his back. You know what I mean? He prefers that player because and he's gone to different leagues as well. He's done it in the England. He's done it in Italy, and he's done it in Spain. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Messi had an easy run in, and he's just basically done it in Spain, innit? He hasn't gone out into a cold, wet, windy Stoke. But this is what it comes to. For me, it depends on the style of play that you kind of appreciate more. Do you know what I'm saying?
On that debate then, because for me, I'm more Ronaldo than Messi. But if you said I could watch one player and watch a highlight reel of one player doing, I'd probably pick Messi. But my question would be, if you're building a team from scratch, from nothing, and you can pick one of them players, you can't build. It's not going to be all elite players. You've just got to build it from the ground up, and you can only have one of them 2 players. I would take Cristiano Ronaldo because he's a Swiss Army knife. He can do everything. Like, his game is so rounded, and he's elite at so many different things. Whereas Messi has to have the right formula around him.
Do you? Because I don't know. Because I think Messi could play in the 10 and play as a 10 as a wide 10. Does that make sense?
He could play as a 10, and he can play any. Messi can play any of the front positions. But
any of those front positions.
Last week, Ronaldo, if you trained him and said, right, you're going to be a left back, man would be an elite left back.
I agree with that. Even his
And
physique.
if he was a kid and someone pulled him to one side and thought, "Kid, I think you're going to be one of the world's best centre backs," Ronaldo right now would have been one of the best centre backs we've ever seen.
I agree with that.
And that's kind of where I come from. And I think people seem to forget that we have the conversation of Ronaldo in England. Man was a winger, not a wide
he was a winger.
forward. He
Yeah,
was
he
a
was a winger.
4-4-2 winger,
4-4-2
scoring mad
winger.
goals, winning the Ballon d'Or. Like that's crazy when you see what he turned into at Real Madrid.
Yeah. I think, like I said before, it's because of the injury that he had that forced him to change his game. He wasn't able to like be as dynamic, like in terms of like, you know, chopping and changing onto left foot, right foot, dropping the shoulder, mobility wise, like, you know, getting down that flank. And so he had to kind of be more calculated and use more of his brain to become that centre forward, and he had to evolve his game, innit? Which is.
When else have you ever seen that though? You've seen someone win a Ballon d'Or as a mad tricky winger, get an injury, and then go on to be one of the best goal scorers you've ever seen that basically doesn't do tricks anymore. Like, when have you ever seen that change and him still be? He actually went to a better level after the injury. That's what's mad about it. We've never seen that before from any player ever.
Well, you could say no. You can't say that. I was going to say there's certain players that don't rely on pace, or they had pace and then they had to adapt it. I think Henry had to change his game up a little bit. Henry relied on. Henry was explosive. He was a fast player, but then as he got older, you know what I'm saying, he adjusted his game slightly to kind of fit in as well.
That's the same as Shearer though. Shearer was a run off the shoulder winger at Blackburn. I mean, striker at Blackburn.
Striker, yeah, he was off the shoulder.
He had a few injuries, and by the end of his career, he was a dirty front man that was trying to elbow man and back in and just get in the 6-yard box and score goals.
No, I appreciate versatility. That's why I go Giggs over Bell.
You got Giggs over Bell.
Yeah.
You know what? Giggs is one of the most overlooked people when we talk about the best players in the Premier League ever.
He did have to switch up his game for real.
Yeah.
Like, he had to be like.
Man was bossing midfield at 40.
That's crazy.
He was bossing Premier League midfields at 40 years old after being a winger for his whole career.
Yep. And I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot.
Mad. I'm going to talk about Liverpool real quick, even though I don't know where flipping my man is. He should be here, but did you see the game, Mitch? Did you watch it or not?
I haven't seen football tonight. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's cool. All right, cool. Nah, you didn't see either, FaZe, did you?
No, I woke up late, mate.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. All right, cool. But I was going to ask you guys just quickly.
Well done to them though, because when I last checked, it was 0-0, and then you told me that they won. So big them up, man.
No, literally.
I was seeing mad group chat popping off saying, how are they not behind? How has this player not been sent off? How are they doing this? And then I checked the stats and they had like 2 shots and he had like 23 or something mad like that.
PSG.
Yeah.
Alisson pulled a worldie, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah.
Alisson was saving them. Like, Kvaratskhelia, if you lot don't know about him, I think like the way he dribbles and like he's a throwback. He's a throwback to the old school, you know, beat a man, 1v1, kind of drop a shoulder, sways, changes body shape, but he's got close control. So when he dribbles with it, and I don't want to say the messy word, but because he keeps the ball close to his body, he's able to carry it with speed and just glide and goes past man. That's what he was doing and getting shots off. There was one point, there was 3 men in the box for Liverpool, and he just weaved like a snake and got a shot off. And I was just like, yeah, this is what football's about, man. We need to get back to this. And then on the other side, it was Dembele. And you know what Dembele is about? Dembele is quick-footed, you know, fast, quick, put it through. He was just putting through their legs, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other, off the back of that, he's taking shots. So imagine Kvaratskhelia wasn't happy staying on the right wing. No, he wanted to go left wing. So that man was popping over. And then on top of that, he said, I don't want to play wing no more. I want to play through the middle. So he's in the pockets playing like a 10, like just dribbling past, man. Do you understand? And they had another who's that French, like he's going to be the next one, isn't it? Barcola. He's doing his thing on the other wing as well. So they looked like they had 3 players just fluid, just changing. So Liverpool looked like men to boys, sorry. They didn't know what to do. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah,
I'm not being disrespectful here because all that you're saying sounds good, yeah. But until they do it in the Premier League, I don't really care, you know.
This is what I'm saying. Come back to my point.
I'm too biased.
This is why you don't rate the Champions League as high as the Premier League. But I just feel like because we watch the Premier League, we have the bias Do you understand? And that's why I like Champions League
And
because
you know what's mad? You see, do
because
you
Liverpool.
remember what's his
Go
name?
on.
Do you remember Hendrik Larsson
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember Henry Larsson. He was
when
mashing up Celtic.
when
Had the
Man
dread,
U
had the
then Man
dread.
U got him in? Yeah, Man U got
When
him
he
in for
shaved his
like
head.
Man
Yeah,
U got him in for like a period, and you see like
yeah,
a lot of games about confidence, isn't it? And if you're
yeah,
continuously
definitely.
playing in a league where you look great every week and your confidence is there, I feel like you
Mm.
can go into nearly any league and look good for a while. But then,
Mm.
like, see the Premier League, we've seen it chip away. Bare man, they've looked amazing in other places. But when they got to be consistently competing against a guy who's not having it week in, week out, for you to keep up that level of confidence and look amazing, that shows me you're great. A lot of these players, until I see them in the Premier League and a man is not having it from them every week, week in, week out, continuously, and they still look that good, I'm a bit skeptical.
Listen, if you saw what what Van Dijk went through, brother, yeah. Everyone that's rating Van Dijk, brother, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. These men were cooking. Like I felt sorry for Robertson. Robertson's he's no longer,
Yeah, his
he's
legs are gone.
yeah,
His
bro,
legs are gone.
yeah, he doesn't have the
It's
capacity.
one game though, man.
He doesn't have.
No, Robertson's legs have been gone for a
Oh,
while, bro.
not Robert. Sorry, I mean the Van Dijk. I forgot we were on to Robertson. My bad.
Yeah, no, it's the capacity. I no longer have the capacity. He starts crying. Yeah, like I think, yeah, he's done. But I just thought Trent, out of all of them, funny enough, Trent was defending quite well. Like, despite people criticize him for like not defending and all of that. In that particular game, as you said, FaZe, it's one game though. I said, Trent, you know what? As a one-off, you're holding your own still.
Yeah,
But
he kind of killed my a little bit of my faith in the cup final next week, because when we went up against them the midweek a couple of weeks back, he just boiled off Anthony Gordon, and I just thought, well, that was like one of my hopes, and it's already dead.
but you're saying Gordon ain't Gordon. Oh, he's suspended. He's not injured. He's
He's,
suspended.
he's not. He's suspended. But when we played them a little while back, he was just we got nothing out of him. We got no change out of Trent at all, and I think that was going to be one of our plus points.
Yeah,
You know what's mad
no,
though? Just not to derail things too much,
yeah.
but
Go on.
our whole left side is out for the cup final against that.
Yes, Hall. I see Hall out. I said,
Hall, Gordon, left-sided centre back in Bottom. It's mad, bro.
yeah. Newcastle, yeah. It's just like your season's just sliding away, bro. I'll be real. But yo, box office, what are you saying?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? I watched the highlights of the Liverpool game, man. And to be honest with you, Liverpool were very lucky. They were very lucky, to be honest with you. They defended well. Like the goalkeeper saved them a lot. I have to say that. But like, I'm sorry, like, yeah, they managed the game better. They managed the game really well, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what though, I love that Cabascalia winger, man. That's a proper winger, man.
I'm
That is a
telling you,
proper winger.
hey,
Proper
Cheeks,
winger.
go watch it. Go watch the game.
They don't make wingers like that anymore, man.
Go watch that
You know what I
game,
mean?
bro. I'm telling you.
Don't make wingers like that anymore.
And box office also. Konate, I'll say this: he's a lucky boy.
No, he's a lucky boy. Yeah, he's a lucky boy as well. Like I said, I only saw the highlights, man. I've literally just come back, so I've just saw the highlights because I knew the Liverpool were playing. Like, you know what I mean? Also, I have to give some props to the games yesterday, like Real Madrid. Like that was a proper game of football for me. That was like a proper game of football. Like, what is his name?
Rodrigo, bro. Rodrigo, then
Skill,
Alvarez.
quality.
Yeah. Alvarez,
You know what I mean?
coming
It's just
over
like that is what I want to see. You see what I'm saying when I'm watching my football? You know, a player actually taking on his man. You know, not doing what have to go in the half space, whatever it is, and you have to get into the box. So you actually try and actually have a shot on the goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. So like, yeah, that's what I like, and I have to give some props to Arsenal. You know what I mean? They ground out the result and got like a 7-1, even though they've got no strikers. So you can adapt without no strikers, isn't it? These days, you know what I mean? Unlike someone that we know, asthmatic. You know what I mean? That needs to shut up and get on with his with it.
So wait, box office, yeah. Are you agree with these guys though? These guys are saying like, raw, it's Champions League though, it's not Premier League. You know what I mean? Like what you've just described, you said like you've looked at Real Madrid, you've looked at Atletico Madrid, you've looked at what you saw today of PSG. that's what football's meant to be about. And
Yeah.
in Premier League, we're seeing a lot of this football dominated by the coaches. It's bare like coaches outsmarting each other, and people are saying Premier League's boring now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what did I say last year though, bro?
No, but I'm asking you, I'm asking you, do you rate the Premier League over the Champions League, or do you rate Champions League over the Premier League? Which one do you rate
I've
more?
always said that the Premier League's entertaining, but quality wise, it's been rubbish. It's been rubbish for a long time. It's been more about the managers with their systems rather than the players. I've been saying it for a long time. I've just said it for a long time because like you don't see players thinking for themselves.
Yeah, because
Hence the reason why you got like players like Gallagher looking like a very good player now these days because he's energetic and he can do a lot more. It's not about skill, it's quality. You know what I mean? That's what it should be about, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But that's what it was back in the day. You know what I mean? Now it's about energetic athletes.
Mitch, I feel like you want to say something. Go on, Mitch.
Yeah, no, because like the energetic athlete thing, I don't agree with it. Because like, let's use McTominay for an example. Yeah, he was always an energetic athlete, but he looked dead out over here. He's gone over to Italy and he's balling out. Gallagher's balling out in Spain. He didn't look like he was balling out over here to me. He looked like he was a ball winner. He was a water carrier. Someone always, like I used to play with a guy who always used to say, let the dogger's dog, let the baller's ball. Both of them man were doggers over here. They've gone over there and they're balling out. Like,
What do you mean by balling?
like they're playing quality, high level football out there. They're not just winning the ball and passing it to the guy that's 10 yards away. They're not doing the check Tiote thing, win it, give it to the better guy. They're actually doing the ball playing themselves out there.
Facts.
And they didn't look like them players over here. And I get that.
Who's their manager?
I don't agree with the manager thing because if you look at like the reason why we're going to have more spots to get into Europe next season is because all our teams are going deep into the European competition. That can't just be all on the managers. Like,
think it is.
teams with Man United. Do you rate your manager?
No.
You're going deep in Europe, so it's not your manager, is it? I don't rate Man United's manager. They're going deep in Europe. Is it their manager that's done it?
Well, look at the quality of teams in the Europa League, though.
That just negates your point that you said a minute ago, though. Look,
No,
the Premier League hasn't got quality, but now you're saying that the Europa League has quality.
What do you mean negate my point? I've said
Because you said
basically
the quality in the Premier League isn't there, but now you've just said the quality in the Europa League isn't there.
Well, yeah, that just shows you a little bit more about the quality in the Europa League. Look at the Europa League. When it was Europa League last season, right? You had teams coming in the Champions League. You don't have it this season.
You know, I get that, but we're looking at the teams like Man United and Tottenham are 13th, 14th, 15th in the Premier League at the minute. They're probably the two favourites to win Europe's second competition. And we're sitting here saying that the Premier League hasn't got quality. That sounds mad to me.
Well, that just shows you the quality of the Europa League, then, doesn't it? Because
no,
let's be honest here.
For me, it shows the depth in the Premier League.
Well, no, I don't agree with that. I honestly don't agree with that. I think the quality is absolutely bang average as far as I'm concerned.
What in football?
I think football is bang average as far as I'm concerned compared back in the day. I think you have players that actually thought for themselves.
That point I agree on because we said something earlier about strikers. Back in the day, you had a bag full of strikers that could play for a top club. Now there's about 5 in world football. So I agree on that point, but I don't agree on the point that the Premier League quality-wise is less than the rest of the world or the rest of Europe. I would say we've got the depth of quality over here compared to.
Where's the quality then? Because most of the managers, most of the coaches are telling the players what to do. Trust me.
The best coaches are in Spain. Why have they not got 10 teams, all their teams looking to go deep in Europe?
True.
The reality is that England at the minute, the way things are going, if we keep the coefficient and we get 5 in the Champions League, we could end up with 10 teams in Europe next season.
Yeah, but I think that's also because of money.
To win the competition they're in.
I see your point, but I think it's also about money as well. Because look at the money of the Europe.
But money brings quality, so that means the quality of the Premier League's up by the money.
And then that backs up his statement of the players being better because the better money gets the better players.
Well, listen, I I look at it like this. I don't think it just shows you where the league is at the moment. Most of everything's been decided already. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
hasn't. Like
it's only in
Liverpool,
Champions League.
Liverpool, the title's decided, relegation's decided. That's
Yeah.
the relegation's a whole different conversation of Premier League being a closed shop and whatnot and all of that stuff there. Liverpool are setting a level of what we've seen from the Premier League over the last 5 or 6 seasons. But the difference in those 5 or 6 seasons was there was another one or two teams that set a similar level. This season, the other two teams that can set that similar level have had a little bit of a drop off. So Liverpool are clear. They haven't done anything outrageous. It's just the other teams haven't been strong enough to keep up with them this
I
season.
agree with you there.
City
So that's
have
what
had
I'm
a fall,
saying.
and Arsenal have had a fall off this season. That's the only reason they've gone clear. But then below that, we've got everybody down to 10th that could still qualify for the Champions League.
So in the Champions League, in the last 16, you've got Liverpool and you've got Arsenal. Those are the two English teams that made it. Oh, and Aston Villa. So you've got 3 English teams in the Champions League for the Premier League. In Italy, you've got Inter Milan and you've got Atalanta and AC Milan as well. So they've also got 3 teams as well in the Champions League. So there is a debate to be had to say, look, Italy have got some strength as well.
Italy have got some strength, yeah. I'm not denying that at all. But I would, if you said we could pair Italy's number one with our number one, Italy's number two with our number two, Italy's number three with our number three, I'm backing all 3 English teams to win them games.
I don't agree with that.
I'll back all 20.
I don't agree with that.
I bet if teams in our position
I don't agree with
were to
that.
play teams in their position, I think we'd beat them all. I think our relegation teams are better than their relegation
Do you
teams.
think Arsenal are better than Inter Milan?
I think if you take Liverpool against Inter Milan, if you take their first against our first, their second against our second, all the way down to the 20th, I think our 20 will get more wins than their 20.
As in the league table as it is now, do you mean? Or as if we picked them in the order that we ranked them?
No, in the league table now.
I think we'd fall down in a few spots. Like I don't think Forest would beat whoever's third in.
Oh,
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
I think
That's
the top team. You're on the right track with the top team. Maybe Arsenal. Maybe.
I'm just talking about them 3 teams we just said. I'm talking about Inter, AC, and Atlanta. If you put
who's our top 3 then? Liverpool.
No, I'm just talking about the 3 teams for the respective countries still in the Champions League. So Inter against Liverpool, AC against Arsenal, and then Atalanta against Aston Villa. I'm backing all 3 English clubs to win them games.
Yeah, I got that.
Fair enough.
Maybe Atlanta I give a bit more respect than the other 2 wins. But I think we take majority as well. I'm more inclined to.
Yeah, I think Atlanta could do Villa. I think
that's the only one I got.
It's the most 50-50 game out of the 3.
Bingo.
Yeah. But then it comes back to that.
You can't argue with the Spanish teams though, like Real Madrid, Barcelona,
And Atletico as well.
Atletico. I think they will give us a game. I think the Spanish league's better, got more quality.
I think Liverpool and City can beat those two of those.
City are out at the moment. They're out. Knocked out by Real Madrid.
If we're going league for league, then it's kind of on par. If we're going teams left in the Champions League against teams left in the Champions League, Spain beat us at the minute because Liverpool against Real Madrid could go either way. Below that, I think the other 2 Spanish teams win.
Yeah, I agree. But it just goes back round to the point that what Box Office was saying in terms of like player quality between us and the Liga. I'm still saying Champions League has some weight against Premier League because you've got a mixture of the champions of the top 3 of Spain and the top 3 of Italy. Do you know what I mean? Germany's debatable. I wouldn't really put Germany in there. Do you know what I'm saying? But I still think you could argue those points. Me personally, I think it's a debate to be had there.
Yeah,
I've never rated the league for quite a while now. I've never rated the Premier League in terms of quality. I've never rated it. I think it's more about the managers and the coach than the players at the moment. I think it's more about systems at the moment. That's all they is. System.
I would have agreed if it was the same teams winning all the time. But I think where this top 4's mixed up now, like you're getting your Bournemouths pushing up. You know what I'm saying? into that, into that mix. Bournemouth are competing with Man City now for like top 4 honours.
But that's just
So
only this season. That's only the season. Come back to me in the next season, right? And then we'll see what happens then. And
yeah,
then because
I agree. I agree. The only thing is with some of these teams, you just know in the summer they're going to be like taken advantage of. Like, so I don't expect Bournemouth to have Kirkers there. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Holson is being linked to Real Madrid this week. Do you know what I'm saying?
goes Liverpool, 100%.
Yeah, Kirkers goes Liverpool. So there's always happens. You always see like a team that kind of rise up. I remember Southampton at one point, they had like pure ballers, and then Liverpool came along and then swiped them down. That's what keeps happening. Crystal Palace, I expect the same. Like there's a few players there. Mark Guay, I expect a team to go in for him. There's Adam Wharton. He's looking like a prospect that teams might go after. Then you're looking at, as I said, Brighton, Bournemouth. Brighton are doing their best to hang on to their players, but we've seen in the past Brighton have lost many a player. Do you know what I mean? To top teams.
That midfield guy Brighton's the next one. I can't remember his name in a minute. The left-footed black guy that plays midfield for Brighton.
Minte.
No, centre mid.
Belieber.
Yeah, he's
the next one. Yeah, Belieber's the next one. But they want like between 80 and 90 million for him.
Someone will pay that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's true. But it's like, how long can these teams keep selling? Like, it'll be interesting to see if one season these teams stop selling. Do you know what I'm saying? And if if the gap would change, if these teams would push up a little bit more for a second season, or maybe actually, I'm thinking about it now. You're looking at Europe. I think Europe's a big factor as well, because I would like to see Bournemouth in Europe and see how they handled the Premier League. Because obviously, when it happened to you, man, Newcastle, you guys felt the hard way.
We missed the step. That was the only problem with us. We missed the step. It wasn't the fact we got Europe. It's just the fact we missed the first 2 competitions and went straight in the Champions League. And then we got like the most ridiculous draw. So it was a case of, do we throw this competition or do we give our fans nights and put our best teams out? And we did that, and it went against us overall in the league. But if we'd got Conference League that season, then it would have been a completely different story, because we could have rotated, we could have rested players, and it would have been a completely different thing. But in the Champions League, with Newcastle, who have only got 12, 13 good players, you can't be playing Champions League and Premier League football with 12, 13 good players. You need 18, 19. That's not the way football works.
I think you handled it better. You've handled it better though. You handled it good though. I think I like Eddie Howe. I think Eddie Howe's Eddie Howe's shown to be a good coach as far as I'm concerned.
But this game week last season, we were 13th, so we didn't handle it that well.
Well, I think he learned. Unlike my manager. But anyway, I don't want to go there. But
how made the mistakes your manager is making when he was at Bournemouth? He went away and he shadowed Simeone.
Wait, let's dive into that. What do you mean by that? What mistakes did Eddie Howe make at Bournemouth?
So at Bournemouth, he was, I'm going to outscore teams. I'm attacking. He couldn't. People were like, he's next up for Arsenal because of the way he plays football and his nice attacking football. But then on the flip side, they were turning around saying he can't set up a defence. So when he wasn't at Bournemouth, he went away and he shadowed defensive managers the whole time he was away from the spotlight. And he came back, and the season we got in the Champions League, we had like second, third best defence in the league.
I was going to ask this about Arsenal. I was going to ask this about Arsenal because Arsenal, and I said at the start of the show, is it a flash in the pan, or do you think Arteta's going to take the handbrake off a little bit now? Like, there's obviously, he still believes he can win the league. I mean, he's never going to openly admit that, it's out of the reach. Fans will think what fans will think, innit? And neutrals will think what they think as well. But in that game, I thought I saw Arsenal go back to a bit of their old ways where they had 2 centre-backs just sitting. They had 3 in front, and then the rest was going forward. So they had like 5 brothers that making runs in behind, getting into the box, and was crowding out PSV. Do you know what I'm saying? Now PSV, Justy was saying now they were still playing the way they wanted to play, weren't respecting Arsenal and played into their hands a bit. But I wasn't sure if Arsenal are trying to go back to that more aggressive type of football where, you know, they haven't got a striker, so they need to rely on other players. Like I saw Rice running and he's breaking and making runs into the box. Then I'm seeing Skelly on the outside, you know what I mean? Ranieri's on the opposite side of the box. Odegaard in the second half, he's pushing forward, getting space and trying to do a thing as well. So I wasn't sure if Arteta said, you know what, rather than play this defensive, I've got to change things again to see if I can like find a way to score goals now because I don't have Havertz, I don't have Jesus, I don't have any strikers that are available to me.
Yeah, I think my biggest question over Arteta is, can he pick the right time to do the things? Like, we've seen he can set up a bad boy defense. We can see they can score a bag of goals. We can see they can go and score from set pieces. We've
Yeah, because
seen
it beat City 5-1, isn't it?
we've seen them control teams with possession. But for me, he picks the wrong tactic on the wrong day sometimes, and that's his downfall. If he picked the right tactic on the right day more often, they would have won a league by now, I believe. Like the games where they've gone to Man City and they've tried to shut up shop. Like we've seen that it probably is a little bit more beneficial if you're on par with a Man City to go at them a little bit more. And but he's learning on the job. So if he can get to the point where he picks the right tactic more often than not in the right game, I think he's capable of winning the league. But it's just the question of can he do that?
So you don't think that he necessarily needs, you know, because the narrative is he needs a striker. You're thinking it's more the tactics that he's employing against certain teams that's losing them games, as opposed to that one final piece.
Yeah, were they not second top goal scorers last season? What are they? And
Yeah.
this season they've scored a bag load of corners. They've one of the best defenses in the league over the last few seasons. He's shown that he can do all of these things with the players he's got. If they went out and signed a bad boy striker, say we mentioned him earlier, say they went and got Alvarez from Man City, they would be much closer to Liverpool. But he's shown he can score a bag load of goals without a man like that.
Yeah, I agree. Alvarez would have been a difference maker.
Because
That's the Man City man they should have got, Alvarez.
I think it's the players though, man. Because it's clear they can do it. Because if you can do this, you know that you're capable of doing this. In some of those games when you're just dominating bare possession, do this. I know Arteta says one thing, but take the game by the scruff of the neck. Do this then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand the tactic thing, but I play centre back. There'll be days when I'm losing 1-0. I said, "Fuck this! I'm stepping up a bit more." Like, do you know what I mean? I'm gonna take control of what's happening. I know he overcoaches. I was there in COVID when we could hear every single word he said to the players and where he told them exactly to step on which piece of grass to stand on. I remember that. I've seen him do that. But sometimes have a bit of fucking initiative. You're the man on the pitch. You do something. Do you get what I mean?
But the flip side of that here is that he's a madman. He's the same as Pep. He's a madman. He's meticulous. So you do that in the game, it might even work. But that madman's going to be in your ear for the whole week in training, telling you that you shouldn't have done it, you should have done this, you should have done this, you should have done this. Most of the players are, I don't want to hear that all week. I'm just going to do what he wants us to do, and that's how we're going to play. And I'm not going to have him nagging me because I went outside of his plan, because he's a madman like that.
But you know why you're right, yeah? And you know, this is, I think this conversation is literally Trossard versus Martinelli. Because I think we've all seen from Martinelli's best season that he's got it in him to score the goals. But I see him, I know Arteta tells him to stay wide, attack the byline, and do cutbacks. And help out the left back a lot and help out the midfielder. I know, I've seen him do that so many times continuously. I know that's what Arteta tells him to do. And I know that's why he gets picked all the time. And then you got Trossard, a man who's quite sure of himself. You can tell he's got a bit of about him. He's had beef with Belgium. He's had beef with Brighton. When he feels what he feels, he scored goals. He's not celebrated. You can tell he's a man. I'm just going to do this my way. You can see that when he's playing left wing, Arteta will be telling him, do this. He's saying, fuck this. I want to score a goal. And you see him at centre forward. Like, do you get? And that's why, as much as Martinelli gets in the game a lot, there's a bit of time where it's like, all right, this is a bit too much. Listening to what I said, we need a bit of Trossard, and then this is the thing where I think we spoke about this a few weeks back. Calafiori is a new player. He bombs on. He don't really stick to left back. He goes all over the place. Skelly's a new player. He's not really drenched in the Arteta woe of what to do. He kind of does his own thing. Nwaneri is a new player, so they haven't been coached as much as some of these other players, and they tend to shine a bit more because you could tell that Arteta's voice ain't waning on them as heavy. Do you get what I mean?
Then it has to keep working. So moments like what Skilly had against West Ham, where he's trying to do that and trying to turn man because he's got the close control and he's got the strong body, and he gets caught by Kudov and sent off. That's where Arteta goes, see, I told you. See, I told you. See, I told you. That's what happens. Listen to what I'm saying. That won't happen. And that's the problem we've got with some of these coaches today. They're too egotistical to just let the players do what they need to do. It has to work for them not to be able to say something. But then as soon as it fails, they'll be, see, told you, it doesn't work. Listen to me.
I heard from Arsenal fans that the reason why they lost that game was because they lack leaders. Do you know what I'm saying? They need more leaders on the pitch. They've only got like Gabriel. He's a leader. Odegaard's not really a leader. He's quiet. He's not like, he's a different type of like captain.
That's that thing where man's like, my record player is better than your MP3 player. That, like, do you know what I mean? Because the captains that they're used to seeing are of a certain mold. It's Keane, it's Adams. That's that old box office thing. Football's whack now. Like, I think that leads into that. Do you get what I mean? Because if Adams played in some of these games, he'd look like Mertesacker. Like, do you know? Do you get what I mean? Like, it's. I think that's a part of that because you attribute a captain to be what you expect a captain to be.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Kane. Kane was captain. They lead by example. That player don't exist as much as. And people say Gabriel is
Gerrard as well.
People will say Gabriel's a captain because he more fits that traditional mold of what a captain is.
Shouting and
yeah. But then he'll lose his lid and get a red card, and then like, do you get what I mean? There's pros and there's cons.
Like fiery characters people associate being a captain. Yeah. That's why people are like Romero for Spurs. They're like, I think Romero should be captain because he was fiery, but at the same time, he had the bozo moment in him. You know what I'm saying? Where that firiness can get him into trouble, or he could lose you a game because he does a rash tackle, or he steps out of position, or do you know what I'm saying? So it comes and it's
different because like look at what's his name. And I think there's moments for certain things because who won the Champions League? Was it Di Matteo at Chelsea?
Yeah, Di Matteo.
And he's whack as a manager, wiggity whack, as you would say in terms of what his career is. Yeah, but and then I watched this. I can't remember who was talking about. I think it was John Terry in the interview. He was like Di Matteo, like right before the final, he showed the players like a slideshow of their family, like their kids and their wives and all of this, and you're like, what's this sentimental bollocks? What are you doing? But he invoked an emotion about them that got that through that particular game. And that's that over a season that might come up a cropper, but in that particular moment, of
course, it
works. So it leads into what Mitch was saying. It's about the moments, like that particular. Like he's saying, the tactics are wrong in a moment. So it's that moment, and not in that moment. It's down to like the managers can do a certain amount, and do you get what I mean? But in that moment, the players got to take control a little bit and grab their grain by the scruff.
That's why I say my argument is that some of the players are not good enough. Then, you know what I mean? They're not as skilled as what they used to be. They don't have the knowledge in their own mind to do what they need to do. You know what I mean?
You had that they know that it's like they're just as skilled, but they know that if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, you don't play football. You can have your fun. You have your 20 minutes of fun being a rogue, but next week you're sat on the bench.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Because that's what your point was about Trossard. Trossard's got his own way of thinking, but because Arteta's doing what he's doing and he's overcoaching him, that's why he's mostly on the bench, really. Because I've got to be honest here. There was one time I thought Trossard was better than Martinelli, to be honest with you, because I think Martinelli's fell like a stone as far as I'm concerned. Well, recent times anyway, because I don't think he's been at his best for a long time.
Martin.
I don't know if Faze says it agrees with me there, but I mean, I think he's fell like a stone anyway. You know what I mean? I think the same thing with Grealish. I think Grealish has been ruined at Man City. I think Grealish has been ruined.
Grealish is a mess right now. Have you seen it?
I think it was the wrong move all day long because he's a maverick. He's a maverick.
And coming out the pub stumbling.
He's a maverick. He's a maverick. He's not someone that's a system guy. I think he went to the wrong team. I think he went to the wrong club because I think Pep Guardiola's overcoached him. Because I think he's not that type of player.
But you see, because it's back to what Mitch said, yeah. You see, because he's a maverick. He's a man who wants to turn up and do what I want to do. I want to wear my socks like this. I want to wear my shin pads like this. He's a like, do you get what I mean? And that's great in the moment on the day. But then, as Mitch said, you got a fucking whole team with computers and scientific data and AI and working out percentage-wise, saying that, bro, yeah, that maverick shit on that moment, it looks good. The highlight reel looks good, and it's good on that day. But statistically speaking, majority of the times you do this throughout the season, it don't work. When we do this, it does work. So it's about that balance. It's that you can't have. You imagine you got 11 Grealishes. It's Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, but you don't need 11 Grealishes.
No, but not the players. I mean, like that attitude
because remember, Real Madrid, they had the Galacticos in it, and the Galacticos, when you deep it actually didn't really work until they had to sacrifice a few things, get the right type of manager in. He was like, this ain't really working. There's too many divas, too many guys that want to be the guy. Do you know what I mean? Remember, you had Beckham and Figo in the same team, and Zidane.
Yeah, there's that mad picture of the wall in it, and it's like Roberto Carlos, Figo, Beckham, R9. There's bare of them just in the picture, and you're like, raw. How did they not win everything?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did they not win Champions League? Like, this is crazy. Like, this team should have walked it. But it's all about the balance. I remember, like, Guti, he was like one of their best players because why? He wasn't a diva. You know what I'm saying? He was a important cog in their wheel, and he just did the right thing at the right time. It wasn't about him. It was about, like, you know, the team. So I kind of hear what you man are saying in terms of it needs to be that balance. And I was going to say, do you think that's the reason why we're seeing less goals where, like, Box Office was saying that in the Champions League where you see man shoot spectacular outside of the box, top corner, we're seeing less of it because man are working off, I know Box Office hates this, XG, like you're less likely to score from this position. So we need you to pass the ball into the box and then maybe do a cutback or need you to work.
Haaland outscored all of them.
Yeah.
And he's playing in that system of the cutback. So when the statistical data matches with the player profile, it's like, wow.
Yeah, Haaland, yeah.
But then when he don't score, it's like, Haaland was whack. What does he do for the team? He doesn't do this. Like, you know, and it's just it's that age old, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like,
do you think Haaland's numbers will drop next season now that Marmoush is there? Because Marmoush is like on the shoulder type of striker, if that makes sense. He's not a striker, but he's a wide forward, whatever you want to call it. And I think with Haaland, players are going to focus on him. So Haaland will drop to get deep, get the ball, and then Marmoush runs from way back where to run onto balls.
Do you know what?
I can't even get a break here. How they? This ain't going well, man. But yeah, you know what I mean, innit? Do you think his numbers?
I get what you're saying. I actually think.
Yeah, go on.
I think Pep's kind of foresaw what's coming, and he's kind of seen that Haaland struggled more this season because teams are setting up to stop Haaland.
Yeah,
he's now brought in Marmoush that is going to create another problem. That Haaland might score less goals until teams start focusing on that problem.
That's
but
right.
Then the Haaland problem comes back straight away. As soon as Pep sees that people are right, they're now following Marmoush. Get the ball back into Haaland. And I think that's why he's created that little one man, the man up, man running on behind. I think that's why he's done that.
Do you think there's a two striker things coming back slightly? Because, like, you know, back in the day, you had the one striker that, like, you see that I spoke about Havertz and Solanke in it, and man was saying, Solanke works hard for the team. He drops in and plays them into
two to play up. To be fair, they'd be a good pair.
Literally, they both cover what each other lacks.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'll see a top team playing a two up that often because the top teams want to control the football. So it's the overloading midfield that controls the game of football rather than having two men.
I don't like that. I hate that. I hate that. I absolutely hate it because then it's inverted wing back, full backs, and all that. I just don't. I think it's either you either play. It depends on the player. You know what I mean? You know,
I think that's why we're seeing these Lewis Skellies at left back though, because they're sending midfielders, and you can.
But also, do you think the reason why, like you said, Mitch, teams are overloading the midfield. But now these lesser teams, they're saying, all right, if we're going to overload the midfield, we're going to play over your midfield. We're going to go more direct. We're going to play longer, and we're going to try and fight it into the forward players a lot quicker. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's where you're seeing an evolve. And that's why, like I said before, Pep's saying, I need to be more like the Brightons, the Bournemouths, the Newcastles, and even the Liverpools. Because even Liverpool, when they want to go long, they'll go long into their forwards. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think that's
There
why
you
he's brought
go,
it back
low,
in.
though.
But I think that's why he's brought it back in. But as FaZe was saying earlier, all the computer percentages will tell all of these managers that it's still not percentagely the best way to win football matches. So they'll have a little bit of it, but they won't use it as a standard first goal.
I agree. So do
That's
you
why
think?
these smaller teams are battling relegation, and the other man them are not.
Do you think then, like with the football was being controlled by, like you said, the AI? It's not really coaches.
Football's controlled by
really
data. Annoying.
Data, like that's what I'm saying. Is it really being controlled by computers? We're not really seeing managers. They're going for like, all right, this is what the data says, so I'm gonna go by that. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's evolving, man. It's because this is what I could tell that some of you lot hate it to its core, but like I'm a data man and I'm a problem solver, man, and like it's evolving. So you see, like I don't understand American football, and I would love to be able to because the depth of what they speak about.
Yeah, they do numbers
like,
hard.
Do you get what I mean? So they got like 11 man on defense, 11 man on attack, and I can see where football is because it's more than just a game now. There's man's livelihood, man's careers, man's getting death threats. Like it's transcending just a kickabout in the park. It's going somewhere else. So there's scientific data into it, and it's like, yeah, cool. It's not just about positions now; it's about attributes. So you lot see him as like an inverted left back that does this, but I see him as a guy. We're having a trouble of getting the ball past his first point of press. So if we put a more technical guy in here, he has the attributes to be able to deal with more situations of a player stepping towards him. And it opens so much more questions. And then there's a lot of players, because you man like the old school days, because you only remember the man them who are elite and up here and do worldy stuff week in, week out. But there's a whole bunch of man, there's like 70 or 80% of the league who you lot don't know or don't care about because they're not these maverick guys. But now built up within these systems, we're seeing Rodri win a Ballon d'Or, and me as a centre back, that I love shit like that. When Cannavaro won it, I love shit like that because only the guys who do the maverick stuff get appreciated, get games not named after them, get kits being bought. Like, do you get what I mean? So now all these other players that have other skills other than scoring goals and being quick and being able to do step overs get a bit more respect because our knowledge of the game is just growing past just that fancy stuff.
At the end of the day, football, I don't know if you guys agree with this. It's controversial, but football is about entertainment, no?
Yeah, but is it still not entertainment? Is it still not entertaining to
us? It's about your perception, isn't it, Mitch? If you can understand what's happening, it will be entertaining to you.
I like it
now.
I
agree with that phase.
I can watch games at so many different levels. I can walk over Hackney Marshes and watch two dead teams play football and it will entertain me. But I can also then watch Arsenal against Man City that are controlling the game and there's not many shots, but I can see the tactical nuances of the game.
Chess match. It's like a chess match.
Entertains me. So it's entertaining on so many different levels now. It's not the same entertainment every single week. Teams doing the same thing, and it's like whoever comes out on top. There's so many more nuances to it now, which is why it still entertains me.
So you're saying like you could watch a game that's like 6-0, be entertained, or you could watch a game that's close, which is 5-4, 3-2, be entertained, and watch a game that's 0-0 and be entertained.
I don't think any neutral will sit and say they're entertained by a 6-0 if there's not mad goals in them 6 goals. Because it's not a contest. It's not close. There's no entertainment in it. There's no jeopardy. You know who's going to win. They're winning the game comfortably. You know what's coming next.
So could you watch a Japanese league then, like A-League or something, Australian league? Watch football and be like, oh, what? It's Sydney FC, versus, I don't know,
Sometimes I wake up at 2:30 in the morning, I click on my TV and I just scroll through and find if there's any football on, and I'll watch whatever. It could be Azerbaijan through, I'll just put something on the TV, and I can just sit there. I don't have to follow a narrative. If you put a film on, you've got to try and follow the narrative of the film. You put the football on, you could fall asleep after 30 minutes. And it's like, cool, I watch 30 minutes of football. I don't need to know the end because I don't care. I don't need to go back to it later to see what the end of the narrative was because it was just a football game. I could watch any football game.
I can't. I don't think you can see it because at the moment, I think there's certain games. Yeah, it's entertaining, but you got to appreciate the quality as well. For me, you know what I mean. You can tell when something's not quality, though. You know what I mean, and that's it for me.
I
So I
think
think,
there's
I
more
think,
quality
I
now,
think
though,
you
man.
can tell, mate. You can tell.
I
You
think
know?
there's more quality now, though. So,
Oh,
Chink, Face, who would you say Arsenal's best ever left back? Like well, that's going to be Ashley Cole, so that don't work.
You know what? Yeah, because you know what's funny. Yeah, I appreciate play. I like to learn lessons in it. So things that teach me lessons, I remember that. And I obviously Ashley Cole in the typical left back, but the player who taught me the most is Zinchenko. That's something that's new to me. Like that's oh shit. Like that made like when I'm wrong, I'm like I want my left back to do this, but then I see a left back do something completely different, and then it gives me a new viewpoint. And like I like that new viewpoint. That's interesting to me. That's why I like Havertz because it's like like you're not what I expected you to do, but you're so good at so many other things, and then like your talent is not something that I even valued before. So now I can see what you're doing and why you're good. You've taught me a lesson. I appreciate the lesson.
Face, I think you've just been programmed to think like that, mate. I've got to be honest. I think you just. I love you, guys. Mate, I love you, mate. You're my guy,
I'm
yeah.
not taking offense at all, man.
You're my guy, yeah. But you just summed it up perfectly, yeah. The mindset has just told you to say. The society's just told you to say that because you're in that moment. It's like XG.
What did you say though?
XG now, the big thing now. What does XG actually mean?
But FaZe could say that you're stuck in the past and he's leveled up. Like he used to be where you was in terms of like the player like Ashley Cole or Lee Dixon. Back in the day, those were the players to look up to. But then he's seen another player that does something slightly different, and he's like, actually, maybe I was wrong, and this new style of playing is like it's a bit like back in my day. You know what I mean? We used to,
yeah.
The music we used to listen to was proper music. Now they're listening to TikTok, Instagram reels. You know what I'm saying? But the way we consume information is slightly different. I hear what you're saying about the XG thing. XG, like they're saying, if you get a shot inside the box, is 0.1 XG. What does that mean? But to someone else, they completely get why that shot is 0.1 XG and what that means. And then when they see it, the teams had an XG of 1.09, they can understand that it's tangible because it's a number. It's numbers now. It's no longer like
it's depth though. There's depth to it. Like
check this out.
It's people's understanding of XG and the way they use XG. Man will go, we should have won the game because we had more XG. No, bro, you didn't put the ball in the net enough time. You created the chances. But the game is to put the ball in the net.
Mitch, can you take this moment for the rest of your life, right? I agree with you. Don't get used to it, though, yeah? Don't get used to that, yeah? Because I don't normally agree with you, yeah? Now we actually are on the same page here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I was going to say, though, is, do you agree with this? Ange says assists is a nonsense stat. Like, he thinks it's nonsense because someone could hit the ball, hit the bum. That's an assist, innit? Before that person scores.
Certain assists. 90% of Kevin De Bruyne's assists are certified full-on assists. He's played a bad boy pass into someone. That's an assist. Like man who give like the right back that rolls it to Messi when he's in his own half and he beats 4 man and puts it in the net. That's the kind of assist he's talking about. They're dead out assists, but they're still assists. But
you know what that is as well, because you see, like I have, and this is where the talent and the efficiency kind of, because I have friends who like think they're big deals and they make content and they think that man, it's all about me, I'm the dog's bollocks, and then they shit on cameramen. But it's like, the cameraman and the editor, without that you don't exist. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's that whole thing where what I do is more important than what everyone else does, and I think that's a snobbish attitude. Everyone's like, this product of what's like this goal doesn't happen. So whatever you're celebrating, whatever you put weight on, whatever you appreciate, what wins games doesn't happen without the assist. So for you to remove that, I'm going to put all the respect on one particular thing. It's quite scary to me. You're meant to be a football manager who engulfs the whole sport, and look like people want to beat up Arteta and say, "Oh, set piece FC," and I'm like, "Rah, he's gone rah, fucking hell." We're not. We need to find another advantage. Like, we're exercising all parts of the game. We need to be good at every single part instead of being snobs and just saying doing. And it sounds bad because I love Wenger, but Wenger's just like, "Yeah, we're going to turn up, do what we want to do, and we're going to win." And then it's 4-4 against Reading, and you're like, "Fucking hell, we need a bit of structure here, mate. What's going on?"
Yeah, no,
What do you think of your assists now? Your assists, corners now, fades and set pieces, because like there was the big thing about it, and they've
it was a big deal at one point.
They've just died off. My man needs to go back to his drawing book. There's only about 6 or 7 of them, and everybody's clocked onto them now.
Facts. Yeah, it's true. It's not working no more. You need to find another way now, man. And people cotton on, and it's about that thing where you said about tweaks now. Now it's about evolution. You gotta evolve now. You gotta find styles beat fights. Style make fights. So you gotta find the next style now. You gotta do something else to try and win the game.
But that's why I think that's where the problem is with certain managers like our manager and Amarin at the moment, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because he's got a certain style of play, and he needs a certain style of he needs certain players to play his system at the moment. You see what I'm saying? But then at the same time, he's results. So you know what I mean. And when you're Man United, maybe I'm bringing it a little bit too forward at the moment, subject wise, but like you've got to get results. It's not good enough to do what you're doing at the moment, isn't it? You know what I mean?
When you're anyone, your job number one as a manager is to win football matches.
Agreed.
Simple.
I don't care about your system. I don't care about your philosophy. If you haven't got the players, you can't play that system. Pick one that works. That's going to win you a game of football. Don't just sit there and play it and end up 15th in the league as Man United. You can't do that.
And I think that's the reason. The arrogance comes from like the confidence. Is it arrogance? Is it confidence? Self-belief? It's a mixture of all, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Because wherever they've gone,
naivety thrown in there.
Naivety's got to do with it as well. Because wherever they've gone, it's worked, and they're very confident in that. If the players follow their methods, their principles, then it works. It's worked everywhere they've gone. It works. Do you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be any different. Football is football in their minds, and I think, like you said, naivety comes into it because that's not going to work anywhere and everywhere you go, and that's the trap some of these managers. And I attribute it towards managers that come up from the Championship as well, because some of these teams, like let's say Ipswich, let's say Leicester or Southampton. Southampton's the best example. They played possession football in the Championship, and that's how they got promoted. Now, their manager thought, I'm going to play possession-based football against some of the best teams in the league, even though they play possession-based football. But guess what? We're going to do it our way, and we're going to win. So what are you saying? Your possession-based side is going to beat this possession-based side that's been in the league for longer? No, mate, I don't think so. That's not going to work. You're going to have to do something.
What? Southampton are probably the best. This is going to sound weird, but Southampton are probably the worst team to ever come into the Premier League, because they do so well, but they're rubbish in both penalty areas.
Yeah.
So they're so good when they're playing football. They look like such a good team, but they get to in either box, they're crap.
Let me ask you this question. FaZe, let me ask you this question first, though. Would you swap 1 million followers, would you swap, like, gaining 1 million followers on whatever platform you can choose, whatever platform it is, for Arsenal's Invincibles?
What? So you're saying he has to give up the Invincibles? That never happened, but he
the Invincibles wiped off. Never had the Invincibles, but he can have 1 million followers. That 1 million followers could generate, man, like money. Where, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do I care about me or my imaginary football team?
What does that mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because deep down, for the betterment of my life and my progression as an adult, and the continuation of my lineage and generational wealth of my family, what happens for Arsenal is irrelevant in my life. It doesn't actually factually mean anything. It just helps my mood a little bit. or my, do you know what I mean? So really, you know, when girls go, it's just a game, and you get mad, like, yeah, it's actually just a game. But it's not. But it's just, it's not. Like, you can't say it.
You can only say that at certain times.
Yeah.
Like, I think just repeating it's just a game. Fuck off. 3 hours later, perfectly acceptable statement, but in the moment, wrong thing to say.
Because I still hate Gareth Southgate for saying it.
All right, let me change it then. Let me make it a bit closer to home then. Would you want Arsenal to win the league now? Supposing like Liverpool, all of a sudden they choked, like the biggest choke ever, like Stefan says, isn't it? Watch when you choke. Liverpool choke up, and Arsenal win the league. Yeah, or 1 million followers.
But I'm selfish, man. Fuck Arsenal, man.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna change my background. I'm gonna change my background to a picture of me. Fuck these guys.
Fuck Arsenal with Arsenal in the background. That's poetic, man. That was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fuck those guys, man.
This is Cheeks Incorporated.
Yeah, man.
ENT. Yeah, I hear it still. I hear it. I'm gonna ask the same question to Mitch. It might be different for you. Do you ever?
I don't even know what you're going to ask me to trade here. We ain't won that up. What am I trading?
Shearer, man. You got the guy who scored the most goals ever in the Premier League. I would like to have that. That's an accolade that no one can take from you.
Well, you had that with Harry Kane, bruv. I still want the trophy, bruv.
No, but would you? No, I'd say, would you want like Newcastle to become like a top team and start challenging for not challenging for titles, but like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, fuck it, just Champions League, innit? Like Newcastle win a Champions League, innit? Before Arsenal, before Tottenham, before like, you know, all these other teams underneath you, you get in the same talking space as Liverpool and the Chelseas and whatnot, and you start to dominate. You know, like how Man City, like how you was meant to. You know what I'm saying? When the Saudis came, so how did you take that? When the Saudi owners came in, were you like, right, boys, this is it. We're gonna do the City thing and we're gonna dominate. How did you take took over?
I wish I could have done that, but I'm like I've always been against it. I've always been against buying your way into positions and stuff like that. Always. Every team that's done it has been against it, and not because it wasn't my team. Because I just don't agree with it. I hate Man United, but I respect where they are from how they've done it, and they built their way up. And
yeah, I'm like that. I put more weight on Leicester than all the City's Premier League wins.
Hey, what's a bigger achievement then? Leicester winning the league or Arsenal doing the Invincibles?
Leicester winning the league is more. I would say it's probably a bigger achievement, yeah, because it's less likely to happen. Like Arsenal, they won the league, but they done it in a special way. But they were a great team, and they were kind of like one of the favourites to win the league. Leicester were 5,000 to 1 to win the league. Like, there's no way you're getting 5,000 to 1 on the Invincibles before it happens.
And you see me, I'm gonna obviously say it's because it's gold, but because I respect Mitch's opinion. And he's balanced and he's not so shameless on his viewpoints. He's made me confirm that I'm being biased because I put weight on his. Do you get what I mean? Because I could be an honest person.
Respect it.
I think, FaZe, I think you put yourself down too much, bruv, man. So I think you are a little bit. I think you're a bit balanced, though. To be honest, mate. You know what I mean?
No,
you get influenced. You get influenced too easily, bruv. Have a bit of a.
But I know I can be wrong. Like, you know what I mean?
I know. But you do have some good takes, though, bruv. You know what I mean? So
he has some good takes. It just makes me laugh that when someone winds him up to the point, he just starts saying mad stuff.
It happens to the best of us, bruv, man. It happens to the best of us, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's called self-awareness.
Exactly.
But I think Leicester's achievement.
Imagine me sitting there, saying like, nah, man, Arsenal. I like this football, man. My viewpoint is the best, man. I know ball, and then all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, but mate, you all of that intelligence, and you're a gooner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not the most successful team ever. Your viewpoint on football ain't the engulfing one that is more superior to everyone else's, because you're not the best, statistically speaking, at it.
I don't go on statistics, so I don't.
Yeah, but like when you started supporting Arsenal, when was that? Like, what position were they in?
I don't think we will win. I support Arsenal because of my uncle. My
Yeah,
uncle supported Arsenal. That's the main reason. And then we just happened to be winning stuff, and it was nice for a while. But we've not won stuff more than we have. So if I wanted a happy, more positive life, it would have been more sensible to support some other teams.
Well, Man United would have been the team then when you were growing up then.
And that hurts to say, because that makes me feel sick and cringy inside to say that.
Yeah. I think that would have been for most of us, but that's the reason why I didn't support them, because I was like, I don't want to be a glory hunter. It's an easy way. And I think it comes down to your character as a person, innit? And your character's formed even when you're young. It doesn't matter. You still have something about you that you still are able to make a decision. And like, I'm sure for you, Mitch, that might have been the reason, like, for supporting Newcastle. There must have been a reason behind that.
Yeah, because I'm stubborn. I don't listen to no one. If you tell me to do something, I'm gonna do the other thing if it seems viable in my head. And I had so many men telling me who to support. My uncle's Liverpool, my dad's Tottenham, my brother's Tottenham, my mum's Arsenal, friends West Ham, and I was like, no, I'm not supporting none of them teams. I'm gonna watch Match of the Day. I'm gonna pick a team, and that's gonna be my team. And then I saw Andy Cole and Peter Beardsley, and that's been my team ever since.
I respect it still.
One of the worst decisions I ever made in my life.
But I'm standing on it.
The amount of pain you've gone through.
Yeah, my brother. The next morning, my brother turned around and said to me, "You can never change." And I was like, "Cool, I'm not changing."
And what? How did you handle the relegation, bro? Like, because obviously you've lived through that.
Like what Chink says earlier, like it doesn't affect your life, bro. As much as you think it's the end that you think about relegation, that's the end of the world. It's not though. Like, your life doesn't change at all. You get a little bit more stick from friends, but so what? I had a fun time in the championships. Seemed like we was playing every 4 days. We won it both times. We set a mad record for the amount of points we got one of the times we were down there. It was a fun time. It was good watching my team win through all the years of having Mike Ashley and being rubbish. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hear it still, man. I hear it, man.
And you know, and I think that's
unbelievable, yeah? Did you believe that?
No, but you know why? Because I think that's a talent. Because I think that stems back to what we were talking about when that's like, it's about your outlook. Like your the way your life is gonna be is about your outlook and the way you take stuff. So some people nowadays, because I don't know if they have a negative mindset or what they hear on the news. Everything's negative, and they look for all the reason why everybody's shit. This guy doesn't do what this guy does, and this is shit. But then some of us is like, you know what? I'm so selfish and I care about myself so much that I'm gonna do whatever I can and look at this from the perspective where this makes me happy. So instead of looking for why players are shit, I look for why they're good. Do you get what I mean? So instead of him thinking, oh shit, we're not in the top league, no, I'm gonna look at the reasons what we're good. I'm going to look at what is positive right now.
Yeah, but the pain of getting relegated, lasts for a few days. So if we'd stayed up, we probably would have won 8 games the following season. What's that about? I don't even know what the percentage of games that was. We went and then won 20-something games in the championship. So I've got to feel the pain of only winning 8 games for my whole year. Or I can go to the championship and win most games and be happy most weeks I've won. The pain to the joy completely outweighs.
Would you rather be? Would you be like Wes Brown or Matt Letizia
as a player?
Do you get what I mean though? Like Wes Brown could say, "Yeah, but I've won this, I've won that." Yeah, but nobody gives a fuck about you. But Matt Letizia, he's in the highlights forever. Like he's important. Like he could have a statue. Like so, it's like you want to be the king or one of the winners.
Is Letizia being banned or something? Is he being pushed out of Sky Sports?
I don't know.
I think there's something around that.
He spoke about, it was something to do with Carragher or something. Him and someone had a negative interaction or something. He spoke about it on a pod. I can't remember who though. There's someone at Sky who doesn't like him or something like that. I think.
I don't know what to say on that one, to be honest. But I think
box office knows. You don't want to say. Look,
I've seen I can't remember most of it, but what I've seen, so I don't really want to get into that, man. Because I don't know. There's some
I thought it's because of the vaccine thing.
controversy thing on that, man. I don't really want to
I
go
thought it
there.
was because of vaccines. He was against the vaccines or whatever at the time,
Maybe.
and they were talking. Like everyone was getting the vaccines at the time, and like he was like, "Nah, you know
Yeah.
what? Forget vaccines, bro." And he was speaking out on it. These lot are. This is all like a facade, rare tear. And they were like, they whacked the conspiracy thing on him,
I
and then
love
ever
that.
since then he dropped out. Do you know what I mean?
I'm with all of that.
Yeah, mad. I'm
But
not with Genius though.
I'm keeping well away. I'm keeping well out of that subject.
Hey, Genius, bad man.
Apparently he's going on Misfits.
Yeah,
Bad boy.
Genius.
Bad
Yeah.
boy.
yeah. I'll
Bad
keep him
boy.
well out of that subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now go on, box off. So you're gonna make a point. Go on, sorry.
No. Listen, I hear what FaZe is saying, yeah, right. But like I say with Tottenham at the moment, yeah, I'm sorry, I've got to see it now. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of this rubbish. I'm gay up my team now. I'm on holiday, man, bruv. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a wife now, bruv. That's how bad it is now. Can't be asked, man. Can't be asked
It's
now.
not going to
Stop it,
settle
bruv.
down finally,
I've
man.
done this for 5 years now on YouTube, bruv. I've seen the same things every single time, bruv. You know what I mean? This has done me out, bruv. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's about Europa League, and if we don't win Europa League, we know what needs to happen as far as I'm concerned, and it's not Ange being at Tottenham any more, and then any less than I need to see him anymore, man. Bruv, the guy's terrible as a coach. He talks too much. Like, you know what I mean? The talking needs to stop. The feeling sorry for himself needs to stop, and he needs to shut up and just get on with it now, bruv. Man, the league's done, and for me, and now it's about Europa League. You know what I mean? So I don't think we'll win Europa League at all because I think you'll get found out. I think we'll get found out completely. You know my feelings
You
about
know
this.
what's mad though? I think you've got less chance of being found out in Europe than you do in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Well, that shows how bang average it is, isn't it? Then, to be honest with you, because I'm not being funny, but I know we've got a good team. I think we've got a better team than we're showing at the moment, but our tactics are absolutely terrible. You know what I mean? I think it's just shown you against what was the last team we got beaten?
Man City.
Man City. Yeah, Man City.
It's mad though because you see like what Pep's he does a little tweak here and there, but entirely whatever his system is, I want the best players to do is what I want them to do. Hence why if I buy a right back, it don't work, I get a new one. I want a goalkeeper, it don't work, I get a new one. So it's just like everybody wants because if you're not versatile, you're trying to do the Pep thing, innit?
Yeah.
But then if you don't have the players for it to work, can you even do the Pep thing? So what's more? What makes you a better manager now? Because now people do the stats thing, and it's only about stats and trophies, in it. So is Pep a better manager because he wins the best things with the teams that give him the resources to do it, or is someone like let me think of who's a good manager, like who's more versatile?
But is there many more managers more versatile? Because you say, yeah, Pep's always had the best players, but he's won it with different systems. He's won it with false nines. He's won it with Haaland. He's now, everybody's saying that he's coached Mavericks out of the game. He's now got Marmoush, Doku, and Savinho behind Haaland. They're all three of them are Mavericks, really, when you look at it. And they're not playing to his structured system. They're just running wild and running at man and doing what they want to do at the minute. Whether that does get coached out of them, but again, it's a different way that he's done it. He's done it. He started doing it with his wingers. I don't know if it was the beginning of the last season because he had Grealish and Bernardo Silva that was playing as wingers for time, and then he started bringing in tricky wingers that can beat that. So he's always making these tweaks. So as much as it looks like, yeah, Pep just does this and he's got his systems and his structures, he actually still makes tweaks and he's quite a versatile manager.
But Mitch, he adapts.
That's what I'm saying.
He adapts, but our manager doesn't adapt. The only reason why he adapts is because someone's told him to do it, or the players have just got too tired.
He's had no choice. Like
He's had no choice.
Is the key example of this. He didn't want him to play. He was getting ostracized. He wasn't even in the European squad. He wasn't playing any games. You've got so many injuries. He had to play. He's your best fullback. He's one of England's best fullbacks. Looking at the way he's playing, and he was like that before he joined Tottenham.
Mitch, trust me, yeah. He ain't playing well because of it. I don't want to say too much because FaZe has heard me and Asmat has heard me about 2 million times on this. Yeah, so I'm sorry I'm sorry to you, mate, because you're the first time you heard this from me. Yeah, Spencer's not playing well because of him.
Yeah, I
playing
know.
well.
That's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah,
He's playing well in spite of him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's doing it despite. You're saying the similar thing to what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like he's playing because, to spite him. Because he don't. You see, there looking at him saying,
But there is a world where Ange has now got all his players back, and as if you lot are saying Europe isn't that good, then really, because he could play Jed Spence against AZ Alkmaar Thursday,
we should
which is
be.
today, isn't it? Later on today, they play in Europe, so he could play with Spence and whatever fullback he plays alongside him, and then also he's got Romero's back, Van der Ven's back now, Vicario's back in goal. He's going to have all of his players back, so technically, he could go on and he could beat AZ. The next team's Frankfurt. He could beat them. They could go and face Lazio. Do you think Spurs could beat Lazio and then get to the final and beat Bilbao? Or do you think those teams have a bit more too much about them?
Tottenham have got a good enough team to beat all the teams in that competition. I don't believe they've got a good enough manager. If he's learned from what's happened past the end of his first 10 games, and he's learned that he can't play this mad run everywhere football with the players he's got because they will break down, and he has to tweak things in games to the way the game state is, you could win it. But I don't believe he's got that in him. So if he just reverts to type, you won't win it.
Have you been listening to us on streams, Bob? Because honestly, you're saying the same thing we've been saying for a long time, Bob.
Well, I watch this pretty much every week, but other than that, I don't watch too much.
Because
But
you're saying the same thing I'm saying, bro. Bloody hell! Oh
yeah,
god.
but the
Good
point
mind think alike. Bloody hell.
but the point was at the start of the show, we have to keep it consistent, right? As Chink says, we have to keep things. We were saying that the teams in the Premier League, they're much better than these ones in Europa. Do you know what I mean? So by that metric, Spurs should be winning Europa, really. Or Man United, to be fair.
They could, but
or Man United, because Man
the
United.
three teams left, is it Roma, Lazio, and Atletico Bilbao? Them three teams are good sides.
There's no way. Like, listen, I'm sorry, but our team we should have lost. We scraped to draw against Roma, right? The good teams.
Yeah, but Roma, we had who was at the back line? Who was in the back line for that team?
That's matter. Don't play this game with me, bro. Don't do this game with me, bro.
I'm asking a question.
No, I'm not doing this.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, we now the best prospect as well, man. I'm not playing this game.
Jagerson was at the back.
Jagerson, who's been our best, who's played in our best games, by the way, as well.
Yeah, but we'd agree he's not of the standard,
okay,
isn't it?
Fair enough. Fair point.
And who else did we have? It was Lancashire up top. Was it Lancashire up front?
Yeah, the guy that he completely ignored and then put him on loan.
But then he got a red card in that same game. Or was it Galatasaray? Sorry, not Roma.
Galatasaray, yeah.
Galatasaray.
I get that, but then there's also occurrences where you've pretty much had your full team and got beat by not very good teams as well. So that it's kind of
that's in the league, though. I'm talking about Europa, because we're talking about Europa specifically. We fielded out weakened teams in Europa against Rangers, against Roma, against Galatasaray, where we lost. Those were weakened teams.
This is the point I'm making, man.
I'm just saying.
This is what the point I'm making, man. This is the thing.
Now he's got his full strength team. That's what I'm saying. Now he's got his full strength team. It's like you've seen it with Eddie Howe. Arteta's now experiencing it with his front line. Do you know what I'm saying? Key players are being missing out. Saka's been missing out for a considerable amount of time. Like it affects teams' results. Do you know what I mean? Now he's going to have his full team back. There is a possibility he goes all the way.
I don't like this. I don't like this narrative about injuries affecting the team. I'm sorry, because for me, there's an argument, right? Back in the day, right, we had injuries back when Harry Redknapp was in charge. Yeah. Well, if we didn't have injuries at left back, we wouldn't have Gareth Bale the way he was, and it turned out to be the Gareth Bale that we've seen, of past the past. You know what I mean? Going to Real Madrid, he would have been off to Nottingham Forest. And would you seen what we've seen with Gareth Bale back in the day? You know what I mean? Like if we didn't have injuries on the Poch, right?
Yeah,
Right, and teams and the strikers that didn't have form, right? You would not seen Harry Kane doing what he was doing and having the career that he's had, and now he's at
well,
Bayern
you
Munich
could say
now.
the same about Archie Gray and Bergvall. They wouldn't have been played as much. Now we're
Yeah, well,
seeing
that's
Bergvall in the midfields, and people say, okay, Bergvall's getting more games because of the injuries.
that's
So
the thing. That's the thing. But
now Bergvall's a certified starter in the midfield. Now he's
well,
definitely
he's
between him and Bentancur that starting in the midfield.
fair point. Fair point. I mean, you know my thoughts on Berber. I think he's
Yeah,
still
yeah, I
rubbish.
know, but
But
irrespective, now he starts ahead of Basuma. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
I hear you. I hear you. I
And
mean,
Sarr,
it's
and Sarr as well, and Pepe Sarr.
fair
So the
point.
point I'm making, that do you not disagree with the point? Because obviously, injuries. Arsenal's had injuries, Newcastle have injuries, but has it affected your season or not really? Is it an excuse? Are injuries an excuse?
I don't think it's an excuse because every team has injuries. Like Bournemouth had loads, and they're still doing better than anybody expected them to do. It is an excuse, but it also does affect your team because if you lose six first team players, you're a weaker side. Like it's a pretty simple fact, but you can't use that as a reasoning as to why you're not doing so well. Because as a manager, you've kind of got to just deal with it, get on, and find a way to play with the players you've now got.
And you know why? You know why? What makes it not an excuse as well? I think the only way
Mm.
injuries are not an excuse is if financial fair play and that PSR shit don't exist. Because in that way, you can buy as much players as you want to cover up for all your injuries. But now you have to have a specific amount of players. They have to have a certain amount from certain countries based on where you are located and stuff like that. And then it's attributed to how much money you bring in, how much you can spend on players and wages. So now these are restrictions that are put in place that limits you from having all the players to deal with all possible circumstances. So now you've got to have this much players, but then if some get injured, you have to deal with it. So the fact that there's restrictions on what you in terms of how much players you can buy, how much players you can register for your squad, it makes it not an excuse because now you have to rely on certain players, and when you have to rely on certain players and they get injured, it directly reflects in the results. So it can't without restrictions. It's an excuse. With
Do,
restrictions,
do you think Arteta could have rotated Saka and avoided his injuries? Like Salah hasn't picked up an injury this season.
mhm.
I know Salah hasn't really been rotated, but was there a way that Arteta could have possibly saved Saka and stopped him from getting injured this season? In your opinion?
Yeah, true. But then he's only doing what he's done for the last 2 years that got us our best finishes quite of late. So maybe it could have
I'm not
changed.
taking that away. I'm not taking that away, but I'm talking about in specific, talking about the injuries. Could he have managed that? Because like being a manager is not just about attacking and defending.
Mm.
It's also about managing injuries because injuries are part of football.
No, true. But then you'd have
Quote
to.
by Henri, by the way. Henri said that.
But
That
then
wasn't my word.
you'd have to what do you call it as well. You'd have to that could be possible. He could because what people say in the latest narrative is that Salah doesn't defend as much. That's why Trent looks so exposed and all this stuff like that. So, but then what could also happen as well? You don't know the temperament of the dressing room. So if he's telling every player you must work hard for the team, some players might think, oh, hold on, why is Saka not doing it? And then that might have their backup, and then they might not want to perform for the manager. So there's a lot of things that could happen off the back of not having an equal viewpoint of all players must do everything I tell them to do. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just thinking in Liverpool system, I don't really know their system off by heart, but I think they play the 4-2-4, and where they've got the double pivot of McAllister and Gravenberch. I think McAllister covers one of the fullbacks if they push up, and Gravenberch covers one of the other fullbacks if they push up.
So they
But
vacate.
there's al-
Oh, okay.
So they've always got one midfielder in the middle, but the other one covers the fullback. Or you might see, it depends. If he's not doing the 4-2-4, there might be another formation where he might get whoever's playing in that midfield, because there's three midfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Bosley, he could cover if Trent or one of the other players or Salah goes forward, he helps to defend high up the pitch to stop those balls getting played out into the player that's nearest to Trent, if that makes sense. So that stops Salah defending too much because Szoboszlai is an extra protection. He's an extra shield of defense. So maybe that's how Slot circumvates Salah getting back and defending so much, and that saves his leg.
So why
Do
does
you know what I
Trent
mean?
get skinned so much then?
Trent,
It's a lot of work to cover him all the time.
Mm.
What Ash said is kind of right from what I've seen of Liverpool, but it's sort of every other outfield player apart from Saka does a lot of work. Like the guy on the left tracks that will fill a bit of space, which allows someone to cover around, and the front man might drop in onto the DM, which then allows the team to shuffle around to cover bits of space left by Salah not running as much.
yeah.
I don't know,
So-
because it's mad because cause it's all about the one win, innit? So it's like, what is it? Liverpool have finished. They've finished third, fifth. They've not always been consistently second or first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they've been up and down like a yo-yo. So with that that approach has worked sometimes and it hasn't worked sometimes, and it pays off when you win, innit, I suppose.
I think obviously they've changed managers. So like the time they've come third, Klopp was in charge, and fifth, Klopp was in charge, and then he was going through his whole evolution because they lost their midfield, didn't they? They lost
Fabinho.
and then that they when they realized Henderson's lost his legs or whoever in that midfield's lost his legs, Trent had to invert because teams were just running through their middle. Do you know what I'm saying? So he had to adapt. He had to copy the Pep inversion. Do you know what I mean? And I think when Slot's come in now, he's seen a few things, and he said in the interview, "I'm very similar to Klopp. I'm very similar," and I think that's the reason why I'm here. But I do things a little bit different. There's a few tweaks that I have over a system, and I think that's the difference between him and Klopp in terms of saving some of the players. In terms of injuries, I think he was one of the managers that had the least amount of injuries in Europe, and that's the reason why they went for him. Do you know what I mean? Why Potts picking him?
I don't think their fullbacks get so high these days either, do they? They do now and again, but I don't think they do it as often as they did under Klopp.
No, yeah, they don't. So I think they build up slower as well. So the first half, they kind of control. They want to see what the other team's doing, the opposition's doing, and then once they understand what they're doing, then they're like, all right, now we can do the
They're
chaos.
like Tank Davis. They feel it out for a few rounds and then knockout. I hear you.
Yeah, that's it. Whereas I think Klopp, from minute one, since kickoff,
Rock and roll football. Yeah.
let's go, lads. Do you know
Can't
what I'm saying? So I think that might be the difference, and I think that's what's impacted. They've had less injuries compared to like the rest of us. Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? And then you see the injuries thing. We're playing more football than ever as well, man.
Yeah, loads of people complained about it. Remember, it was Rodri.
Yeah, bingo.
Rodri actually complained about it, and then he broke down himself.
Yeah,
imagine that. So there is a case to say, like, you know, injuries have impacted.
You see that NFL thing? That's where I think we're going now. We're just gonna start allowing massive squads because they're not gonna lessen the football, you know. They're not going to lessen the amount of football. They're trying to get more games in. And this is where we're going to turn into that. Football is slowly turning into the NFL, bro. I'm telling you, we're going to have all 50-man teams soon. It's going to go, it's going to start going mad. I'm telling you, it's going to start going mad. Yeah. It's turning. We're getting different we're getting sub coaches in, throw-on coaches. It's slowly, like the game we used to love. Mr. Box Office is going to be a lot more angry over these years.
He's going to quit. Mr. Box is going to quit. I know, but that's funny. I heard that the owners wanted to like bring in like an extra half, like so it turns into quarters. That's what I heard.
That's just too much,
man.
It's enough with the bloody what is it, VAR and that. You know what I mean? Like
we had against in COVID we kind of did that. We broke the halves into halves, didn't we? We had like a
they had the water breaks,
Bryce, this game we used to love, bro. I'm telling
you. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of American investment going in. Do you know what I mean? Lots of people. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? There's. I think Spurs, because we've got the NFL, people are talking about, you know, Arab this and I'm not sure, man. I think we might get taken over by American investors because we've got a massive NFL following. We've got a lot of ties there. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce is coming down this summer, guys. You know, if you want to come down. Kendrick Lamar. I don't know if you guys are fans. They ain't like us. You know what I'm saying? You want to hear that, see that in person. We've got Conor Ben fighting Eubanks Jr. on the 25th of April as well. So if you're into boxing, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, football's moving mad right now. But yeah, the point I'm making is there's a lot of like American influence in that Spurs, and a lot of other clubs are looking at what Tottenham are doing, and they're like, we want to be like them. Everton, they're changing their stadium, and they want to do that whole kind of sports kind of. And it was actually Levy. He was the king of pushing this whole PSR and his FFP. He was champion it. He was the one that was pushing it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if things start to move in that direction, man. Do you know what I mean? And you get cheerleaders in Crystal Palace. Cheerleaders,
Crystal Palace have had cheerleaders for time. I remember I was in my teens when I went to Crystal Palace once, and they had cheerleaders. I haven't been in my teens for 20 years.
Me neither, bro.
No comment. No comment. Who am I kidding? Yeah, no, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, like, because it's all about entertainment, as that's what I was saying before. Why do we watch football? Are we watching football to be entertained, or like
it's business, bro? It's business now. It's not just business.
Yeah,
it's turned into a business. It's not really about. They're trying to get rid of relegation, bro. They wanted the biggest teams to make our own league.
Isn't it?
Yeah, bro. It's a business now.
But they went from the Super League to the Champions League because they changed the format. And now it's more like any team can face any team. Do you understand? Yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised future down the line. It's like when the Premier League took over, that was a Super League, but people didn't even realize they're in the Super League. Do you know what I mean? With all this money, Sky Sports. You know what I mean? That revolutionized champion. What was it called? League One. It was League One before, wasn't it?
It was just called Division 1.
Division 1, sorry, it was Division 1.
Yeah, Division 1, and then
Division 1,
Division 2, and then Division 3.
Yeah, and then Sky stepped in. Was his name Rupert Murdoch stepped in?
Yeah,
all those tabloids. You know what I'm saying? And then ever since then, like I remember, was it Alan Shearer went for the record fee?
Yeah. That was a world record fee. That was like 95, 96.
95, 96, yeah. Or Andy Cole. How much did Andy Cole go for? He went for some money as well.
It was only 8. I think it was about 8, which sounds mad when you say it like that.
How much was Shearer? Shearer was like 15 mil, wasn't it?
15, yeah.
Yeah, 15 million. That was crazy back in the day. 15 million.
15 million pound for like over
1-5.
A man that scored 260 something Premier League goals.
Yeah, that's insane, man. But yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I'm gonna wrap it up here, man. I've been talking for almost 3 hours, man. But yeah, man. I don't know where my Liverpool fan went because I wanted to get into that, but yeah, it doesn't matter, innit? But yeah, big up Mitch, man. Where the Owl sleeps. Do you have a channel?
Yeah. That is Where the Owl Sleep is the channel. We normally stream Sunday evenings, talking football. Normally we've got a nice little niche subject away, trying to do something different to what everybody else is doing now and again, but we do have our Premier League catch-ups and stuff as well.
Okay. Yeah, man. Cool, man. I'll check that out. Where the Owl sleep. What type of format is it? Is it a panel? Is it just two of you?
Yeah. There's 2 of us that are on it every week, but there's 6 of us. So whoever's available will cater like the subject to whoever's about. We've got me, Newcastle fan, a West Ham fan, a Bolton fan, a Southampton fan, and another Tottenham fan as well. So
you got a Bolton fan? Is that what you just said?
Bolton fan, yeah.
Wow, I like it, man.
Bolton.
The minnows.
Yeah. We do some mad shows, like we do Maverick shows talking about all the old Mavericks from the Premier League, and we did a show on football boots and the evolution of football boots and stuff like that. We just try and find different things to talk about.
All right. Hey, FaZe, you still there? No? All right, cool. Box office. So you got anything that you want to promote as well before we leave?
I've got some things in the pipeline. I've been retired the last couple of weeks because obviously there's not been any football. It's been bliss that, to be honest with you, because yeah, the league's done, like I said, and like it's about Europa League, so that's back up now. So we'll see what madness comes out of that, innit? You know what I mean?
Cool,
So
cool, cool. All good, all good. Big
Yeah.
up also Justy that was on earlier. And he's got his show called The Fam Zone. Check that out, Fam Zone TV. And also Deji Spurs, we already know about Deji.
Big up.
So yeah, big up Deji Spurs. Oh wow, FaZe is back. Whoops.
Sorry.
But yeah, man, big up, big up. Any last words, FaZe, before we check out, man?
No, big up, man. I'm gonna subscribe to you as well, Mitch. Big up. What's a
Yeah,
pleasure,
bro.
man. And you know, boxers, you know I love you, man. I'm still waiting for my positive Spurs video for the end of the season. I'm still waiting.
Bruv, that's coming. That's coming. I've already had I already had it. Yeah, I already had it in the pipeline, bruv. You
Good,
know what I
good,
mean?
good. And big up Ash,
Not
man.
about my manager though. Not about my manager though. You have a long time for that one, bruv. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But also, guys, make sure you hit the like and share, subscribe. Apologies, my studio's not working properly. I couldn't see the comments, so I couldn't bring it up today. But big up the comments. I know you're there as well. And for
Yeah,
people
man. Big up
listening
the
back
chat.
on audio, big yourself up as well. And the silent listeners as well, man. But yeah, man. Of course, we'll be back next week with more Spurs rivals. But yeah, man. On the way out, if you can, tell a friend to tell a friend, man. But
Big up.
peace, love, and manners, man. Big up, big up, big
Big
up.
up.